At least, I mean, I watched his final segment because I saw a headline, so I clicked on it, and I watched his final segment, and he made it seem as if he was saying goodbye. 17 years, and that he said he was taking his shot. But he made it sound as if the company he works for, that Good Karma Brands, is, going to try to help him, and they own other stations in other markets. I mean, maybe I took it wrong. But yeah, he also said that they're going to pay him. Good Karma Brands is going to pay him until he finds his next job.
Okay.
Oh, well, no. I mean, I guess they were notified yesterday that they were notified Monday that Tuesday would be their last show.
We're opening the Red Bull early today.
Yeah?
Gotta have it. Oof.
Uh-oh.
Well, you said you don't have much giddy up, so
No, I don't.
maybe I can pick up the slack for you.
I'll get there when the music starts.
This is my chance to reach that next rung while I'm still enough in my prime and still have the energy to pursue this. I don't know what that means. I don't know what my ceiling is. I do know I've been assured that the folks at Good Karma Brands are going to help get me to that point where I can discover what the ceiling is. All right.
Okay, here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. How's your week going so far? Let's get over that hump together, shall we? How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Top of the morning to you, Mark. By the way, you've worn 3 collared shirts 3 days in a row. That's unusual for you.
Are you sure?
Well, then again, it is early. I mean, sometimes the wires aren't always.
I know I wore one yesterday. I wore a collared shirt on Monday.
I thought you did. So,
I mean, Tuesday, I played golf yesterday. I'm going to play golf today.
Well, that's usually the tell. quite frankly. All right. I can tell by looking at you in which, he's got a collared shirt on. He's golfing. None.
Upon further review, Mark was wearing a Golden State Warriors t-shirt on Monday,
That's what I
Okay.
thought.
All right.
but we got a back-to-back.
Okay. Well, good for you, by the way. Golfing yet again today. Hope the weather cooperates in your neck of the woods. Trent, good morning. How you doing?
Excellent. Family's in town, so I'm having lots of fun, put it that way. But
And you're eating a lot, right? Because all they do is buy food, meals out, right?
eating very well.
See, good, because goodness knows when you go back to living off of what you're making here, it's back to ramen noodles.
Correct. Looking forward to it.
Sure he is. Man,
Did you do ramen noodles in college?
No, nope.
I did for a while.
Nope.
I lived off ramen noodles for at least a semester my sophomore year.
Well, first off, that would involve boiling water. So that ruled that out right away. All right. But no, I figure if I'm going to spend money on ramen noodles, I'll find something better.
Well, no, the point is you don't have any. See,
I
Dave,
know.
when you're spending money,
Yep.
that's not ramen. Ramen noodles when we were in college was 10 for $1.
No, I get it. No, I really
No. I don't know because I don't know what, this is not that Kia commercial where you can get a car for a dime. I don't know what else you could eat for a dime, David.
I understand. Well, first off, I was one of those. I loved the meal plan. All right. I hit that cafeteria for 4 years. Loved the meal plan.
Gotcha. I got off of campus as soon as possible, so the meal plan was done.
Well, here's the thing. I combined them both. Sophomore and junior years, I lived off campus in campus housing. I was 3 blocks off campus. So we had the best of both worlds. I could still walk to campus and hit the caf and then, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, fair enough. The cafeteria did enough to my waistline freshman year that I didn't need it anymore after that.
Yeah. Do you know what? I found a place that delivered food, and a pizza place that delivered food until 2 a.m. And I would have a Letterman order every night. I would order a small pizza and a ham and cheese sub for me. I'd call during Carson and have it delivered right at the beginning of Letterman. That was my go-to.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, and it would be a late night snack, and then could serve as breakfast/lunch the next day. So yeah, I put on 18 pounds my freshman year, my first semester of college. I put on 18 pounds.
Did your mom give you grief when you came home?
She noticed, and I only came home twice, even though I went to college 2 hours from home. Okay, I came home twice, and my mother was like, you're taking that freshman 10. And I'm like, yeah. What are you doing? I found a place. Oh, did you? Yeah. So here's the thing. I caddied, worked at a pharmacy. So the deal that we had, my mom took care of school. I took care of the spending money. So I'm spending my money until it ran out. I don't know when it ran out. I got to be honest.
It always runs out. It always runs out, no matter what.
Yeah, I guess. But, then I started working at places that serve food. That's the other thing. I always had food in college. Worked at a bar, worked for Domino's. I just, worked at the TV station, at first as an intern, and then, let's go out to dinner. We'll buy. Okay. So I don't know. Food was never a problem in college. Look at me. Does it look like it was a problem?
Never, ever once thought that it was, David. I just merely needed to correct you when you said if I'm going to spend money, and that leads to thinking that ramen noodles cost money. That's what you eat when you have no money.
No, but that would involve boiling water. How are you going to do that in a dorm room? Nah.
Well,
good.
you can also do the cup noodles in the styrofoam where you just have to put water in the microwave for 2 minutes and then dump it in there and cover it.
Okay, didn't have a microwave.
Yeah, we didn't have those either.
Oh,
okay. Yeah,
Cup of noodles. That might be a little bit. That's very new technology compared to the 2 old guys when they were in school.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I remember cup of noodles, but then you'd have to boil water. So anyway, 83 to 88 were my college days. You know, Trent, as our guest a few weeks ago said, back in the 80s, all the way back in the 80s.
All the way back in the 80s.
In the 80s, yes. So, but I was a little worried about Trent because he said he needed, what'd you need, a Red Bull before the show?
Yeah, I usually crack it open around 7:30. We're about an hour and a half ahead of schedule this morning.
Wow. So you're dragging. Your parents
Yeah,
are
a little
wearing you out.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Longer commute for him each day because he's staying with the aunt and uncle with the parents. He's about 30 minutes away instead of 5 minutes away.
See, that's the real key is that the alarm goes off 45 minutes earlier. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's problematic. That is problematic. Hey, I finally won a bet.
Boy, did you ever.
It seems like it's been eons since I've won a bet of any kind against you or anybody else. But
Lord knows the Hard Rock balance is showing how well we've been doing with our bets lately.
man, we had such a good football and college basketball season until March. And man, March kicked our butt. The system had about a 4-month shelf life. Man.
Just got to get a little bit back so we don't have to deposit more, David. That's all I'm worried about is having to re-ante.
Yeah, we got to get the Final Four right. 2 big numbers. Are we taking them or are we laying them?
But you did win the bet because the numbers came out for Iowa and LSU, and they were monstrous.
$12.3 million on a Monday night on ESPN. Don't laugh. Monday Night Football does like 14 to 15. To put it in some perspective. There's only been one NCAA tournament game thus far that drew more viewers than that, and that was the Duke-NC State game, Sunday, late afternoon, early evening. That did 15 million. Otherwise, in fact, there were a lot of posts, Mark, on X yesterday. Don't know how many of them you saw concerning the ratings. All right. But here we go. At 12.3 million viewers, the LSU Iowa game had more viewers than any women's college basketball game ever, any game in the NBA Finals last year, the World Series, the Orange Bowl, the Big Ten title game, the Cotton Bowl, the Pac-12 title game, the Big 12 title game, the ACC title game, the Peach Bowl. More viewers than Thursday Night Football on average, and every college football game in the regular season last year except Ohio State, Michigan. Now that's regular season. Notice they didn't say the SEC championship game because that did more.
It's pretty good.
Not bad for a Monday night on cable.
And I didn't think it would get that high because after a great first half, Iowa kind of took control there in the third quarter, and I thought they would need a similar first half to get that number. I was obviously way wrong.
Well, obviously she's the attraction, and she and they were winning. And while LSU didn't have a good third quarter, she and they did.
Yes.
So once she and they were up 11 going to the fourth, people said, well, I'll stick around. And while they're also touting the UConn USC rating, which, don't get me wrong, I mean, over 6.5 million, man, that's big. That's big for a 9:30, because they tipped at about 9:20-ish, 9:30. Women's college basketball game to do 6.5 million. I mean, damn. I mean, that's more than watch the Major League Baseball All-Star game. However, the lead-in, I guess, when the game tipped off, over 10 million people were watching. Pretty good lead-in, as they say in the industry. But do you remember when there was an announcement a few months ago about ESPN and the NCAA had worked out an agreement for all of the sports not named men's college basketball. And that ESPN agreed to pay 3 times more than they had been paying. And of the 100-something million a year, 65 million of it was for women's college basketball. And you and I both said, yeah, ESPN got off easy here. I can't believe they did this deal. And this was right at the beginning of the season when the numbers were starting to pop up about Caitlin Clark in Iowa. Now, I know she's leaving it all. But don't you wish if you were the NCAA, you had held on just a little longer before you negotiated this? Never mind, Mark, you and I said, couldn't women's college basketball negotiate their own deal?
And should negotiate their own deal.
And now it's too late. Do you know whose contract comes up in a year? The WNBA. Do you think she will start a bidding war amongst networks?
Bidding war is strong, but I do think more people will be interested. How could you, if you're a television executive, David, not be interested in that product after seeing the numbers that Caitlin Clark is doing during the regular season and now in the postseason of college basketball?
Plus, it's summer into early fall programming. I mean, what else you got? Miller and Moulton. Let's get over the hump together, shall we? Thanks for listening.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, you'll get it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA-certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District, and all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Did you hear the story about AJ Storr, the Wisconsin guard who entered the portal?
I did not.
So the word is that he wants $1 million, and Kansas offered him $750,000, take it or leave it, and he said, "No, I'm good." He's also about to play, going back to high school, I think for his 6th or 7th school in 6 or 7 years. Did you see the letter that DJ Burns got that he posted?
No, I didn't.
It's quite disturbing. Fan mail.
Playing it. I remember playing here. This place was rocking. That's what I want. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna recruit.
Here we go.
Put together a roster.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Draft is 3 weeks tomorrow, baby. Masters is a week tomorrow. Women's Final Four Friday and Sunday. Men's Saturday, Monday. Cleveland and Phoenix, the 2 sites. You know, Alabama already landed in Phoenix?
Seems a little early.
It does, doesn't it? I mean,
But they're not going to be there long, so why not get there a couple of days early?
Oh, stop it. Come
okay, you know what? They're going to beat UConn.
Well,
in fact, I'll give you Bama right now.
So
might as well bet the money line. You're so confident over there, David.
I didn't say that. All I said was, well, come on now. This is how the stories get written. This is how the 30 for 30s happen. I mean, you know, Duke got beat by 30 by UConn in 90. Same 2 teams come back the next year, basically. Duke wins. I mean, you know, UConn trying to repeat. It ain't easy. Even Dan Hurley said yesterday, he said, hey, best of 7, I like our chances against anybody. He goes, 1 40-minute game in a football stadium, anything can happen. Huh? All right.
He's right. He's absolutely right. Alabama could make all of their shots. UConn could shoot the way they did in the first half against Illinois, and all of a sudden Alabama could have a 10-point lead at the half.
We got drama.
You're right. You're right. It could happen.
What are they, an 11.5-point dog?
Yes, they are.
They've won 10 straight tournament games by 13 or more. That's a legit top 10, top 12 team in the country. It's nearly a 12-point underdog. I mean, come on. You got to take the points, right? No?
No,
Oh.
you don't have to. What out there tells you I need to take the points in that game?
Well, just that it's a good team and a lot of points.
But UConn has won all their games by double digits. I mean, they're
I
blowing
know.
people out.
I know. They've beaten other good teams by more than that. I know. A lot more. Illinois by 25. San Diego State by 30. I know. Just, it does seem early, though. I mean, what do you think they're doing? They're going out there. They're going to Top Golf. What do you think they're doing today? No practice, just Top Golf?
Probably just a couple of study halls, David, and then practice.
Going to the Yankees Diamondbacks game
Ooh,
today?
now you're on to something.
Well, why not? In fact, do you think they're able to reserve the pool out in right center? Or does somebody have that already? It's not like the Alabama Athletic Department can't afford it. I'm guessing somebody's already reserved it, but yeah, you know. Boys, we're going to see the sights today. No basketball. You don't have to worry about that. Top Golf and a D-backs game. What do you say? Woo-hoo! No? All right.
Boy, that is incredibly early.
Yeah, I know. Struck me that way too. I mean, don't you just have to kill at least a day without basketball?
Yeah, this sounds like a bowling party to me. That was one of the things we do on the road when you're on these long road trips, David, is team events. Top Golf certainly makes sense. Bowling makes sense.
By the way, the Diamondbacks game's a mighty nooner today out west. It's 3:40 Eastern. Huh. Let's go. In fact, you could do both. You could do the Diamondbacks and still go bowling. Like the lanes are busy on a Wednesday night. Who knows? You might have leagues.
I'm sure they could find a place.
I'm sure they can too. Don't you love it when the athletes put on those rental bowling shoes? You know, because they're used to their kicks and they're important to them and all that. And then you got to go, here, we're going bowling. Put these on.
Well, especially because there's at least one big man that's going to wear like a size 14 that they don't have.
At least there's got to be 3 guys on that team where the shoes don't fit. Hey, don't tell anybody. We'll go down at the end. Just do it in your socks. So I just thought that was interesting. Alabama flying in. I don't know if they thought that, they had the women's schedule Friday and Sunday. At least they flew into the right city, but it does seem early. So that's what we got going on. Baseball season's a week old, and the Marlins still haven't won. Oh, yikes.
Starting to get late early.
Sure is. 0-6 is 0-6. Yeah. I mean, they have to play like 12 games above 500 the rest of the way just to equal last year's win total.
And they were so impressive a year ago in those one-run games, extra inning games. That's where they took care of business. This year, they've already lost a couple of extra inning games.
Yeah. Last night, though, big night. Big night in South Florida. Trent, did you see the pictures? Obviously not. Is he asleep? The Red Bull not kicking in yet?
I was doing play today. What's up?
He's in there working.
Gotcha. So you're covered for him. That's very nice.
No, he was on his phone looking for stuff, and
gotcha.
He didn't expect the call from the bullpen this early, I guess.
So the all you can eat section. Do you see where it is? It's
no.
Way down the right field line.
Where did you think it was going to be?
Listen,
behind the home plate?
No. It was a little further away than I thought it would be. That's all. I mean, they don't draw a lot of crowds above 15,000. I just thought it would have been just a touch closer, just a touch, like a couple sections. That's all. It's all the way down in 313. I thought it might be like 311. That's all. So, but did you see the size of the dogs and the chili dogs? Those real hot dogs.
What did you think they were going to get, like small sized items for the all you can eat and try to really be cheap on this thing?
Yes. Here was the big problem last night, though. The game was an hour and 10 minutes old. It was in the top of the sixth. Top of the sixth. Well, this sucker only goes for 7 innings. Well, I can't have a, you know me, lover of the pitch clock. You can't combine the pitch clock with all you can eat. I need more time. I mean, the game was like an hour and a half old, basically, and it was like, okay, promotion's done. Wait a minute. Only had 90 minutes. So now I got to find out how early can you start ordering food? Because I got to be there now, minute 1. When do the gates open? That's when I got. When does the
This has
concession
become a
stands
quest for you, hasn't it, David?
open? I'm all in. I am all in.
Do you
Tell
think
me.
you could do back-to-back all-you-can-eat games? Like, do you think this would be only one and you need a day off because you've consumed so much food? Or do you think you could do a Friday, Saturday type of all-you-can-eat Marlins weekend?
Yeah, what I want is, because I'm a Mets fan, what I want is a Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, and I'll go back-to-back. Absolutely. So like a 6:40 first pitch on Saturday and then a 1:40 first pitch on Sunday. So I can do it twice in 22 hours or 23 hours even. Something like that. Yeah.
I have no desire to see a Mets Marlins game. Trent, I don't at all. I really don't. But I would go just to document David's eating. I would be on it would be a constant post on X of the rundown of what Moulton would take down.
I don't think you're alone on that. I'm with you, and I think a lot of the listeners are with you as well.
I'm all in on this. I want to try it. And also here's what I figure. Saturday is kind of like the dress rehearsal. We'll really find out exactly where all the concessions are, what you can get, how early you can get there, how much time you have. And then Sunday's the main event. We're going nuts Sunday.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Okay, so let's say the hot dogs, chili dogs at this Marlins ballpark. What do you think they are? Probably 8, 9 out of 10, judging based off the size.
I can't make judgments on rating a hot dog without eating said hot dog.
Well, fair, but I guess so my question here is, David, would you sacrifice maybe a better seat and a slightly less quality hot dog for better seats? You know what I'm saying? Like if it's a 10 out of...
No, he wants the all you can eat because he's stuck in 313. What you're saying is, would you sit and behind the plate?
Yeah, what I'm saying is, if the all you can eat was a little closer, it was a better seat, but the food was a little bit worse.
Well, I have to admit, there's a part of me that thinks from an all-you-can-eat standpoint, you're better off being further down because you're away from more people. The line should be shorter at the concession stand.
Well, first off, you're way off here. We can go back to this anytime you want. There's going to be one concession stand that all you fat people can get your food in. That's it. You're not going to be able to walk up behind hey, I'm over here in 112. I got the all you can eat. No, get your ass back down in 313 where the all you can eat people eat. That's the only concession you're going to be able to get food at. I would virtually guarantee it.
In fact, I don't know if I'll be in my seat at all during the entire game. I might just be in line. Like I'll be in line, I'll get my food, I'll go back to the back of the line, I'll eat it while standing in line.
I did see the Pirates hot dog, Wes. The pierogi covered dog.
Seriously?
Yes.
That's very Pennsylvania. DC, I don't think I can go with anybody. Plus, I think it'll be difficult for Mark to explain. Wait a minute. Where are you going this weekend? Going to Miami. Why? I'm going to record Moulton eating. What? Yes, DC, but we will talk it again.
Oh, there you go, David. May 17th, 18th, 19th. Mets at Miami. You got a 4:10 Saturday game and a 1:40 Sunday game. You could even go 7:10 on Friday, 4:10 on Saturday.
Yeah, I can't do it just because of my life, but I know.
You got another one in July.
Now that's a different story.
19th, 20th, 21st. I could make that 21st game because I'm going to a concert in Miami on the 22nd. Just do the show from the hotel room on the 22nd.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour. Thanks for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Ian Cummings, 1 hour from now. He's a draft analyst for Pro Football Network. They are doing the mock draft thing. They got one seemingly all the time. They had one the other day. Quarterbacks go 1 through 4 because of trades. I got the Giants trading up, taking a quarterback. Uh-oh. So, talk to Ian about that. Coming up in an hour, Seth Everett will join us in his usual spot. 21 minutes before the hour. Time now for...
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Number 1 is she's a bigger phenomenon than you think. 12.3 million watched LSU Iowa Monday night on ESPN. Women's college basketball. That is the new benchmark. Not even when it's been on network TV. Not even Cheryl Miller back in the day, who on CBS had a couple of 11+ million games. This is the new benchmark, and it makes you wonder, what about Friday night against UConn? The same, more, or less?
I don't even know how to answer that anymore, because I would guess the fact that it's Friday night, that it's 9 o'clock, I would think less. But the phenomenon is so big right now. How do you bet against Caitlin Clark?
And does the opponent factor in at all? Because up until Caitlin, the biggest brand in the sport is who they're playing Friday. And does that even factor in? Or is it all about Caitlin?
It's all about Caitlin, but it was also a revenge game against LSU. They had lost. People had seen the way Angel Reese celebrated, and they didn't like it. So there was a white hat and there was a white hat and a black hat in that game.
So that could be our Friday poll question. Same, better, or worse. The rating for Iowa UConn, but 12.3 million, an all-time record. And to give you an idea, there was only one regular season college football game that had more people watch it, and that was Ohio State, Michigan. And it's more people than had watched any of the conference championship games, with the exception of the SEC title game. So there. The NCAA, by the way, we've been talking during the women's tournament about, the fact that they put only Portland and Albany. They didn't have 4 regions. They had 2. And then in the first and second round, should they go back to on campus or where? Anyway, they were going to put off making any potential changes until after next year's tournament. They apparently, because of the success, but also some of the things they feel they've gotten wrong this year, apparently they're going to meet like next week and decide if they're going to change the format and locations, etc.
Do you think they'll have a measuring tape in the room to see how far every chair is from the front?
Well, so needless to say, the spokesperson was asked about that, and she said, I know that you're thinking this is another one of those, more resources put towards the men's tournament than put towards the women's. But she said, to be honest with you, the same company does both. It just so happened that they
we fired them.
Well, I'd like to think that they have somebody else for next year. That could be one of the issues that gets discussed next week, Mark, going forward. Alabama is already in Phoenix. They flew in late yesterday afternoon, ready for the Final Four. They play the late game on Sunday. They take on UConn. They're an 11.5-point underdog. So there. One footnote. Andy Enfield left USC for SMU. A lot of people, kind of going, he just flat out said it in his presser. He said, I wouldn't be here if they weren't going to the ACC. In fact, he said, my family was very happy there. I had a great staff. I had full support of the administration. I had multiple years left on my contract, and I lived on the beach. Now, I have to admit, he lived 2 blocks from the beach. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's Manhattan Beach. You could see it. It's got a great place, beautiful back deck, great view. It's not technically not on the beach. It's 2 blocks away. But he just flat said, he goes, the ACC drew me here. So, interesting.
Is that a veiled shot at the Big Ten led me away?
Well, that I don't know. But I would think it would also play in. I do know that there are a lot of non-football coaches at Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA who are apprehensive because they truly don't know, is this going to be a great thing? I mean, yes, a lot more money. Awesome. But are the kids that we normally recruit, is this going to interest them at all? Or are they going to go, this doesn't interest me at all? Don't want to play games there. Now, if you look at the schedule, Mark, it's 3 road trips a year. That's really what the move is, especially for USC. Because you got to figure the conference is going to give them Oregon and Washington every year. Like just say in basketball, you got to figure they'll have Oregon and Washington a home and home every year, right?
They should.
And obviously they'll do a crosstown home and home with UCLA. Well, there's only 5 road trips a year. That's 2 of them. And those are 2 you normally have. So you're looking at 3 road trips a year that are, this is a problem. And they could be very cumbersome. I mean, one of them could be all the way to Rutgers. I mean, Rutgers, Maryland. Hello. But Major League Baseball. Zach Eflin took a shutout into the 6th. Rays scored 4 in the 5th. Tampa Bay beat Texas 5-2. Marlins are 0-6. Their worst start ever. Angels beat them 3-1. Yankees lost their first game. Arizona beat them 7-0. Hey, the Brewers are 4-0. 90-year-old Bob Uecker behind the mic for opening day in Milwaukee. Brewers 3-2 over the Twins. Orioles held the 3 hits. Kansas City beat them 4-1. Phillies 9-4 over the Reds. Bryce Harper hadn't had a hit all year. He hit 3 homers. That'll break out of Schneid. White Sox edged the Braves 3-2 for their first win of the year. Cubs hit 4 homers. Rockies are 1-5, 12-2 Chicago. Toronto beat Houston 2-1 when Davis Schneider hit a 2-out, 2-run homer in the top of the 9th off Josh Hader. Ouch. Good win. An announced crowd in Oakland. Care to guess? Tuesday night for the Red Sox. A little bit of a draw.
4750.
Over. The announced crowd was 5112. The AP made sure to emphasize the word announced. Cleveland beats, by the way, Boston won in extra innings 5-4. Cleveland beat Seattle 5-2. Shane Bieber, another scoreless outing, 6 scoreless innings. Cardinals beat the Padres by the same 5-2 score. They've won 2 in a row. And the Dodgers, Mookie Betts already has 5 home runs. Leads the majors. Not bad for a shortstop, huh?
He's so good.
It's ridiculous. No, and nobody's complained about his defense yet. He goes from right field to shortstop. Dodgers 5-4 over the Giants. Mets and Tigers postponed yesterday. And, well, I don't like their chances today either. But what the heck.
Boy, they made him sit around. I was checking scores last night, and it was delayed for an hour and a half. I'm like, are you serious right now? Can you just call this game and get them out of the damn clubhouse?
Yeah, the Mets announcers are really happy about it, too. Larry Lucchino, pretty instrumental guy. He got the ballpark in San Diego built. He got Camden Yards built. And he was president and CEO of the Red Sox when they were talking about demolishing Fenway and building a new stadium. And he said, you don't tear down the Mona Lisa, you enhance it. And he helped the Red Sox end the curse. And he's the guy who called the Yankees the evil empire. Larry Lucchino died yesterday at 78. Heat beat the Knicks 109-99. Terry Rozier, 34 points. He hit 8 threes. Joel Embiid came back. 24 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. Philly beat OKC 109-105. Timberwolves over the Rockets 113-106. Golden State snapped Dallas's 7-game winning streak 104-100. Lakers have won 7 of 8. They beat Toronto by 17. Giannis had 35 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists, a triple-double, and they lost to Washington.
Right, to Washington.
How about this matchup? Jokic with 42. Wemby, did you see his stat line?
He almost had a quadruple-double last night.
23 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists, 9 blocks. He's a rookie. Nuggets held off the Spurs. Cleveland is the 3 seed in the East thanks to their win over Utah. And Sacramento beat the Clippers by 13. By the way, OKC, Minnesota, Denver, they're all tied in the loss column with like a handful of games left. In golf, NHL, Panthers lost again. They're 3-7-1 in their last 11. And Boston won, scoring 3 in the third to beat Nashville. Panthers are 4 points behind the Bruins, baby. Florida's going to play Toronto in the first round, it looks like. Big win for the
By
Islanders.
the way, the Panthers just didn't lose. They lost to the Montreal Canadiens.
And lost badly. They scored 3 in the third to make that respectable. Islanders, or no, I'm sorry, they were up 2-1 and then gave up like 4 in a row and lost. Anyway, Islanders were 2 in the third to beat the Blackhawks. That's a big win for them. Buffalo lost. Jeff Skinner for the Sabres played in his 1,000th game. I meant Washington lost to Buffalo. And Crosby, 2 more goals. He's got 39. And the Penguins scored 5 in the third, including 3 goals in 51 seconds. How about that? To beat the Devils 6-3. Roy McIlroy made more headlines. He said, quote, "The split is unsustainable, and yet we're probably still quite a long ways away from a deal and merger." PGA Tour in San Antonio, LIV in Miami. And, the Chiefs are pretty popular, Mark, in Kansas City.
Not as popular as you would think.
Well, I think they found that out yesterday because
They did. Either
was
that or they really hate the Royals. I'm not sure which it is, David.
So there was this little item on the ballot. Apparently in Kansas City for the last 40 years, they have had a 3/8 cent sales tax. Well, it's running out. And so the Royals and Chiefs said, hey, how about if we keep the tax still on the books? I mean, you've been paying it for 40 years. It's not an additional tax. We're just keeping the tax. And now we're going to use it for 50 years. And we're going to build the Royals a new ballpark. And we're going to make $800 million in repairs to Arrowhead. By the way, the Chiefs are kicking in $300 million and the Royals are kicking in $1 billion. That's what was on the ballot yesterday. Yeah, it got voted down 58-42, percentage-wise on the ballot in Kansas City. And the Chiefs and the Royals aren't playing the ultimate card yet, but
they're talking about it.
The Chiefs may pull a Giants. The Chiefs may go across the border into Kansas because there's a county right on the other side going, what do you want? Just what do you want? And I'm wondering about the future of the Royals, though. Just throwing that out there. So, back-to-back Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. And 3/8 cent.
Right. The other side of this is Kansas City as a market is mentioned. When the NHL talks about expanding, Kansas City is one of the first cities talked about of bringing in yet another franchise. You would have to think this does not bode well for other franchises coming to that market if they're not going to build stadiums for their basketball or baseball and football teams, David.
In fact, I believe it is the second smallest market, Mark, that has 2 pro teams in it of the 4. So, that's why they're like, hey, we need to secure our future. And the voters said, nah, we want our 3/8 cent back. Okay. And so at 8 minutes before the hour, that was
the starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
That's a tough one, too. They had victory parties planned. They had Royals and Chiefs executives who were on location at victory parties waiting to celebrate last night. Cameras were there and everything.
What the hell were the polling people doing? Because this thing got crushed. How did they think they were going to win? I mean, it didn't come close.
Well, and the funny thing was heading into the vote, the poll said it was a toss-up. And so the pro teams thought, well, come on. I mean, Mahomes will carry the day. They want their 3/8 cent back, Mark. Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GIA certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commission and educational presentation and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
$208, DC.
How about the 0-6 Marlins? Keela's dad, it's amazing to me that we reelect our politicians at the rate that we do. Let me tell you that Bills story, and then the Pagulas hit them, all those season ticket holders with personal seat licensing fees that are staggering.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Let's get over it together, shall we? Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Ian Cummings in about 35 minutes as we begin what will probably be a daily look ahead to the NFL draft over the next 3 weeks, whether it be just the draft as a whole or specific teams. Hope to talk NFL every single day, at least one segment with the draft 3 weeks from tomorrow. Right? I mean, it sounds like a good game plan, right?
I like it.
Can we go back to this whole taxing things? Did you see the Bills and their new stadium? And, they got the state of New York to finance about $1 billion of the $1.4 billion stadium. And, the county that the team is in and all that. I mean, the team's taking not much in the grand scheme of things out of their pocket. And that stadium is being publicly subsidized between the state and the county, almost entirely. Okay. It's their, it's their business. So why then do the Bills owners have to charge personal seat licensing fees? I mean, the stadium is paid for, right? They own the team, right?
Right.
So why do they need to charge a PSL fee on the seats?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, because they can.
So did you see the prices that they're charging before you purchase the tickets beginning in 2026? You've got 2 more years in the place you're playing now, and then the new stadium will be ready. Did you see what they're charging per seat to have the right to then purchase the season tickets?
I've not seen prices. I'm sure they're outrageous.
$15,000 is the cheapest. $50,000 is the most expensive. That's suite level. So if you're a season ticket holder and you've had 4 season tickets to the Bills for a long time, which a lot of people have in that part of our country, you have to come up with $60,000 in theory to then purchase your season tickets.
I hope that their stadium's empty.
I do too. I mean, I know the Giants lost a lot of season ticket holders when they built their new stadium and they did the PSL thing. And a lot of Giants season ticket holders said, the hell with you. And the Giants had just recently won a Super Bowl. And they said, yeah, we're good. And they've actually not sold out the stadium consistently since. But, I mean, man, we love our football. But even we have a breaking point, don't we?
Well, yes, of course we do. When it becomes beyond cost prohibitive to attend games because you're taking a second mortgage out on your house so you can afford a PSL. I think that's a little much.
I mean, honestly, and not only that, and the Pagulas do a lot of charitable work. A lot of charitable work. I mean, they're good people. But this is a bad look, man. This is a mistake. This is like, you got to be kidding me. Why are you doing this? They built you the stadium you wanted. They paid for 85% of it. Any cost overruns, they got to pick up. I mean, come on, man. Family of four's got to come up with $60,000 just to keep purchasing their season tickets. I'm with you, Mark. I hope there's 12,000 people in the stands. We know they won't be. It'll somehow, some way end up sold out going forward. But I mean, for goodness sakes, in Kansas City, they just rejected a tax that's been on the books for 40 years. You've been paying this tax for 40 years. The measure that was on the ballot was to just keep the tax going.
Yeah, by the way, I'm not surprised at that. At that, people being surprised that a tax was voted down are so damn stupid. How the hell you could come on, David? We'll come up with a poll, and you know what? It's a tax, and we think it's 50-50. Bullcrap. Who votes to increase? When have we voted to keep taxes?
But
no buts. When have we voted to keep tax? David, my goodness, I watched schools get closed because they were trying to keep a millage. They don't vote to keep taxes, ever.
Yeah, but Mark, this is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Who gives a rat?
Well, in that part of the country, I think they thought 51% would. And obviously they didn't. Not only that, it's 3/8 of a penny.
It's a tax.
I understand.
You may be all for paying more taxes. I applaud the Kansas City voters for telling the teams, you know what? No, enough. And you're right, David. There's another city there that will be able to screw their public because they can figure out a way to get the money without having it come to a vote. Do you think for a minute, if there was a vote in St. Pete to spend all that money on a new stadium for the Rays, that it would pass?
No.
Of course not.
No, but also in theory, that would be new money. I mean, I am surprised. I am a little bit, and maybe I'm naive. And I don't think I'm naive very often. But because the tax was already on the books, and the tax, if the 3/8 of a penny tax is to keep up, it's, I don't know, called the Truman Sports Complex, I think it is. And that's the complex where both the Chiefs and the Royals play. Their stadiums and the upkeep and what have you. And so that's why the tax has been on the books. And so the tax was running out, and the Chiefs and the Royals thought, well, this is not any additional taxes. And now if we just basically, listen, we've had it on the books for 40 years. Let's now do it for another 40, 50 years. And the Royals can get the new stadium. And the Chiefs can get Arrowhead updated because that stadium's 60 years old. And, and the Chiefs said, by the way, and we'll throw in $300 million. And the Royals said, we'll throw in $1 billion. Apparently over 50 years, Mark, the 3/8% tax would have raised $2 billion. And the Royals said, we'll throw in $1 billion. And the Chiefs said, we'll throw in $300 million. And you got to admit, I mean, they put it on the ballot after winning back-to-back Super Bowls.
Their timing couldn't have been any better. And the voters told them to stick it.
Right. I mean, the only thing I think they didn't do was they didn't get Taylor Swift to cut a TV ad endorsing the proposal. That they probably needed to do that.
Quick sidebar. Don't know how it happened. My daughter has become a Swiftie.
Huh.
All she's listening to now. Knows all the words, sings all the songs. Alexa, play this song. Good gracious. Sorry, go on.
No. This is interesting. So did gymnastics cause this? A friend?
Friends at school. So one of her friends is into it. That got her into it. And
You can't escape it at that age and in school. I mean, she is the biggest thing right now.
I'm just wondering, is this bothersome enough that we have to investigate and find out which friend and torpedo the relationship?
I'm already doing that.
But see,
We've changed schools for next year. I mean,
but if you do that, it's too late, though. She's already a Swiftie.
Wants a Taylor Swift themed birthday party this year.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Well, she's
going to
on
look very strange dressed as Taylor Swift for the party. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, you're really going to have to shave. I'll tell you that. Listen, she's in between, parts of her tour. I mean, be one of those fans that, sends out a little SOS, and every now and then, the star shows up at a kid's birthday party. Sometimes stars go to proms,
right?
With people. I mean, give it a shot. What the heck?
Since we do a show, maybe she can bring her boyfriend. We can get an interview.
Well, exactly. I mean, promise, Southwest Florida, promise some golf and some fishing, and, that'll take care of Travis. And tell him he can bring Jason and his wife. They seem lovely. Anyway, so I have to admit listen, there are times when our sports teams are a little arrogant. Just a little bit. But you can't blame the Chiefs for thinking, oh, we can get anything passed. I mean, come on. You got Mahomes, Travis, Taylor, back-to-back Super Bowls. I mean, come on. Yeah, put it on the ballot. Absolutely.
And it got crushed.
3/8 of a penny. Come on. They've been paying it for 40 years. They're not going to miss it. They don't even know what they don't have. Boom. Like Wembanyama with 9 blocks last night. Boom.
And he's just going to get better.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. I think Jokic and the Nuggets are kind of like, we better win as much as we can, as quickly as we can, because he and they are going to be a problem.
Remember all the morons that were like, oh, he's too skinny. He needs to put it like, guys, have you watched the NBA these days? Have you seen what Jokic has done to change the game?
Well, also, it's people maybe closer to our age, Trent, not your age, who, it's not the league that it was. You don't have to be Embiid anymore to be a big.
Right. You can stretch the floor, handle the ball.
In fact, it's preferred that you're not like that to be a big.
Right.
The big needs to be able to handle the ball, needs to be able to shoot the three, needs to be able to, as you said, spread the court out and open spots up for players, not hog the middle. It's a different game.
So there you go. A little money in sports yesterday. And
the fans stood up and said, no, you're not taking our money again.
Little guy stood up and said, no soup for you. And you'll like it. And don't threaten me with you're going to move. Don't kid yourself. We'll go across the border to Chiefs games. We don't care. And as for the Royals, win something. Oh, yeah, that's right. You won a World Series 8 years ago, whatever.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I don't know where this came from or what it's from, but it's Joe Biden on Easter. Have you seen this clip going around? He called it the Oyster Bunny, and and then just kept talking casually. It's just
It's the best we can do.
Boy, we got two great choices.
One selling Bibles, and the other one can't speak.
I just laugh. If I don't laugh, I'll cry.
And that's the best we can do.
It's the best we can do on both sides.
Okay, so this is a funny thing for David. So my parents might come in for the tail end because they want to see the studio and stuff. But my mom was like, "Is David gonna be there?" Because she just thinks you're funny. And I was like, no, he's up in Jacksonville, which is 6 hours away, you know." And she's like, "Oh, it's that far, really? I thought we could maybe meet him for lunch or something." Like,
yep,
it's not gonna happen.
Yep. Tell you what, you guys get in the car. I'll meet you in Thono Tosasa.
I gotta shut the door.
Yep. Tell your parents I'll meet them in Lakeland.
Okay, play of the day's a little gimmicky today, but I'll need at least a minute. No, it's good. It's
fine.
It's decent, but I just have
going on.
I got a spiel. Yeah, last night was slow.
Yeah, I thought we were going back to Houston 2 days in a row. I didn't, had the no-hitter yesterday, and yep, Empire 3 home runs. Had he been hitless all year too? 1 hit, no hits. Then he breaks out. Did you guys see that Tortorella presser?
Yeah,
I sent you guys.
Yeah,
God,
that was great. Yeah. Answers with an adjective and then gives us answer.
Soft. Except one guy. They didn't come to play except for one guy. We've got guys who have no idea what they're doing and no concept as to how to play hockey this time of year. And this is just regular season hockey. So it's good we're finding this out now.
We're finding things out.
Mm-hmm. Basically, who I am running off. And I'm going to sit down with Briere and Jonesy and say, get rid of this guy. Get rid of this guy. Oh. Well, maybe we can finish third then, guys.
I've thought about writing myself in this year.
Here we go.
I'll vote for you.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Ian Cummings, he's a draft analyst for Pro Football Network. Draft's 3 weeks tomorrow. So we're going to start getting knee deep into it. Then we'll get waist deep into it. Then we'll be neck deep into it. But, we'll start in the kiddie pool end. Ian Cummings joining us in about 15 minutes' time. Seth Everett next hour as well. Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Hope your week and your month is off to a good start. Thanks so much for being with us. We don't have a poll question,
You're right.
Zip, zilch, nada. Haven't even discussed it amongst the three of us.
When do the Marlins get their first win?
Have the 0-6 Marlins been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs? I mean, come on. It's 6 games out of 162. I mean, come on. Bada bing, bada boom. I mean, it's 4% of the season. It's 3/4 of one NFL game. That's all that's been played right now. If they were the Dolphins, they're losing like 24-0 going to the 4th of week 1. Is the season over? That's where we're at.
I don't think they're bringing enough instruments into the ballpark.
Maybe they should put a 3/8 penny tax up.
Boy, we could talk about that with David Sampson because he managed to railroad one of the biggest. What's the word I'm looking for? That's clean.
I got nothing.
Yeah. Anyway, they ramrod that on the taxpayers of Miami-Dade, and they're going to be paying that for a long time.
Yeah, we're just a day late and 3/8 of a penny short with David Sampson.
Exactly.
He was
Well,
on
that's
yesterday.
all right. He's on tour. Okay, we'll talk to him next week about it. But play of the day coming up in a handful of minutes. 12.3 million. I finally won a bet, ladies and gentlemen. I'm only about one. I'm about as much in the hole as the Royals are right now to need a new stadium. That's about how the last 4 weeks have gone for me gambling. But I got one right. 12.3 million for Iowa LSU.
I am happily stunned that the number was that big. On ESPN, I mean, the number of games that beat, that's the part of this. Because I don't think everybody just, 12.5 million, 12.3 million, whatever. But when you start talking about the number of other sporting events that this beat, it's seismic, David.
Okay. It beat the NBA Finals last year. Remember, the Finals are on ABC. It beat the World Series last year. The World Series is on Fox. It would have been the second highest rated regular season college football game. The only college football game in the regular season last year that outrated that women's basketball game Monday night was Ohio State, Michigan. It outrated every conference championship football game with the exception of the SEC title game. And we could keep on going. It's now the new mark. It's the new standard bearer as to highest rated women's basketball game of all time. There has only been one NCAA tournament game so far this year that has outrated that. And that was the Duke NC State region final, which was 5 to 7:30 on a Sunday on CBS.
More or less for the UConn game on Friday.
I'm gonna say more.
Why?
Even though it's a worse night, and I could argue because I'm guessing they're the late game also,
They are. They're the 9 p.m. game.
which means it'll be 9:30. Also, that's the other thing because the other game I'm assuming starts at 7, and then it's a half hour after that. In fact, it could be 9:40, 9:45. I just think if you've been watching, why are you gonna stop?
Well, if it's South Carolina against Iowa in the championship game, I know I'm projecting a bit here, but that will be
Oh no, that'll
right.
That'll beat it.
But
I don't know if Friday will. David, I hope you're right. Why wouldn't I want to see a record set? Why wouldn't I want more people watching this tremendous young lady playing basketball? I just have trouble seeing because of the rematch, and I know UConn's a monster brand. But the hype train going into the game Monday night was astronomical. I don't know if they can keep that train up for Friday.
No, I'm with you. I get it. It's a worse night. You could argue it's a worse time slot. And while UConn is a big brand, they may not bring as much to the table as the whole LSU dynamic brought. The rematch, Angel Reese, Kim Mulkey, the LA Times story, the Washington Post story, all in and around that. I mean, LSU also brought their own element to the table. This is the most boring, nondescript UConn team in a while. I mean, Gino's mellowed. Paige Beckers is a nice player, but, she ain't Caitlin Clark.
I do think Caitlin Clark dropping 40 helps a little bit, obviously, because if they would have won and she had 25, I mean, that's one thing.
Yes. Here's the other thing that I'm counting on, Mark, and once again, I think I'm going to lose this bet. More, the same, or less, and I'm going to go slightly more, and I'll probably lose it. But we had a poll question yesterday in which we basically asked, so what'd you think? Because we knew there were a lot of people that sampled that product that don't normally sample it. And the reaction was very few negatives, very few people saying I sampled it and yeah, I'll never do it again. In fact, the overwhelming majority said, I really enjoyed it. We didn't ask them would they sample it again, but based on their response, you figured, oh, they'll watch her play again. And now this is the next opportunity.
And I do think the Friday night, Monday night thing will hurt them.
Probably right. But as Trent mentioned, if by chance Iowa wins 3:30 Sunday on ABC, I mean, that
South Carolina's lost one game in 3 years, and it was to Iowa.
Right.
Last year.
I mean that, you could be talking over 15 million people. All right. 28 minutes after the hour. Do it.
Play of the day. MLB season's been a week old, but college baseball's been going now for a little bit over a month, maybe. I don't know. We had an in-state clash last night, kind of a one-off. Florida A&M going to Gainesville, and the Gators hit 4 bombs, including this one from Colby Shelton.
That one hit well down the left field line. Stanley trying to run it down, but he's going to run out of room. And maybe that gets Colby Shelton going. He ties Cags with his 13th bomb of the year.
Gators win at 10-7, moved to 17-11 on the season. And guys, I have to give a little bit of a special shout out to my favorite former student and family friend who was at the game. He's on vacation down here. He went to the game. He got a ball, got it signed. So Andrew, shout out to you, buddy. Hope you're enjoying vacation. He's listening this morning.
College baseball.
Yep.
And that call was about as exciting as they come.
I told Mark this morning, I was like, I am struggling to find a good
play
call
that again. That's a home run call.
Right.
Field line. Stanley trying to run it down, but he's going to run out of room. And maybe that gets Colby Shelton going. He ties Cags with his 13th bomb of the year.
There it is. Finally. He finally said bomb of the never said home run.
No.
Waited 6 seconds to tell it was a bomb. He ran out of room. Was it a foul ball?
That's a good point. I didn't think about it like that.
Get more enthusiasm from people at the deli saying your order's ready. Man.
That's our Molly made play of the day. We need to clean that guy's press box. Call Molly Mae today to get your press box or your house cleaned. 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839. We will switch gears and talk the draft with Ian Cummings. He's next on Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, you'll get it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District, and all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, guys, we may have to do a mulligan for the play of the day next hour in the 8:20 segment.
What do you mean? Run it back?
No, we're definitely not going to run that back because that was just god awful.
Right.
No, Bryce Harper hit 3 homers. He had the dramatic home run in Houston. I mean, we're. Here we go.
Lefty on lefty. Yeah, it's hooked deep to right center field. No doubt about it. A 3-homer game. He caps it off with a grand slam. What a night to beat Bryce Harper. 2 solo home runs, a grand slam, and the Phillies lead it 8-1. Second career 3-home run game. The last one came against the Marlins in 2015. Boy, they needed that, didn't they?
Yeah, David, if you send that to me, I'll get it ready.
You could just type in Bryce Harper, 3 home runs, and it's the MLB film room. Let's see. Trent, when I typed in Bryce Harper 3 home runs, okay, a series of stuff comes up. The third one down is Bryce Harper's 3rd home run of the game as a grand slam.
Perfect.
And it's 30 seconds. So, Tom McCarthy, Phillies Television Network.
Yeah, I found it.
No, I know, Kilo. He took care of his buddy, his former favorite student, right?
Yes.
Favorite student.
Diehard Gators fan. He's listening, so I just,
I know. No, you catered. You caved.
Oh, I
Okay,
told
you
him,
did.
hey.
You had one T-shirt left to give away. You gave it to your friend. Meanwhile, there's an adorable family there with 2 cute kids. And you said sorry. That's okay. Now that family hates Miller and Moulton. That's all right.
We got to get merch.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour. Seth Everett will join us at the top of the hour on this hump day. Hope your week is going well. Hope the month is off to a good start. And thanks for spending some time with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. We will check in with the respective Final Fours beginning tomorrow and Friday. Already got some guests lined up. The draft is 3 weeks tomorrow, and we are starting to get excited about that and do our series of previews. And it's why we called Ian Cummings and the good folks at Pro Football Network, profootballnetwork.com. Follow Ian on X at IC_draft, IC_draft. It's David and Mark. How are you?
Doing good. We're finally at April. It's been a long runway to the NFL draft, but we're on the home stretch. So we only have a few more weeks, and then we'll finally know what's going to happen, and a lot of anticipation building up, ready to go.
All right. Well, I was looking, I believe, I was I'm on your site a lot and I get confused, but your top 100 is very different than how you think the draft will go. Just your thoughts on Daniels, the QB from LSU, because I saw in your ratings you had him a lot further down than most do.
Yeah, and I'm going to revisit that one more time. He could land in my top 20 when it's all said and done. I'm finalizing the big board on April 15th, so the rankings will change a little bit. As a quarterback prospect, not quite the blue chip guy that Caleb Williams and Drake May are to me, but I still really like the talent that's there. I think he's very athletic. I think he's got he's got a good arm, not a great arm. I think that's one of the separating factors. But you look at just his dual-sided playmaking ability, the electric running ability, and then the deep passing ability, the accuracy down the field. I think he's a playmaker in every phase. And I do think, a little bit older, I do think there is a little bit of inconsistency anticipating over the middle of the field, maybe a little bit of reckless decision-making off script. He's got a lighter frame, and that plays into it too. And those are just diluting factors for me, right? I don't want to, detract from the player because I do think he's a very good prospect. But this class in particular is very strong at other positions at the top of the board too. And so that's another factor to take in. But I think it's reminiscent of, the tiers of this quarterback class. It's Williams and May for me at the top, and then a gap, and then you have Daniels, you have McCarthy, and you have the rest of the guys.
Well, then it sounds as if you're a little fearful that quarterbacks are going to be taken a lot higher than you have them rated, which of course increases, if you're right, the bust factor, correct?
In the sense it does, yes, but at the same time, I understand that I'm just one media evaluator, right? So, my grade will be a lot different from another team's grade, right? And if he gets in the right situation, like Jaden Daniels, if he does go to Washington, they've had a lot of cap space, right? They have a scheme that I think, spread oriented with Cliff Kingsbury, I think would fit him very well. And they have some weapons in place, right? So landing spot is a big factor for these guys. So even if they're a little lower on my board, I'm not going to consternate too much if I think they land in a good spot and they have the traits that fit that, right? It's just always a balance between value and supporting cast and ultimately the talent that they have to elevate themselves and their offense. So it's going to be fun to see. JJ McCarthy is kind of in a similar conversation, but he's a little younger too. So if you're an evaluator looking at that, you're looking at, hey, he's only 21 years old. Do we have more time to get him to his maximum? Whereas Jaden Daniels, those little inconsistencies that we see, is he locked in a little bit more, right? So that's another tough task to evaluate and kind of a thing to split hairs with for evaluators.
Is it change at all? I mean, you brought up the age a couple of times. Players are playing longer. Do you think the age factor is as big of a deal now as it may have been 5 years ago when we didn't have the transfer portal? We didn't have guys, we're still dealing with COVID years and guys playing a lot of years. Do you think, and then we've had the quarterbacks that are playing so much longer, the Rodgers and obviously Brady before that. Do you think the age is still as big of a deal with the quarterback position?
I don't think it's as big of a deal for longevity. We know these guys can play into the upper 30s, right? That happens a lot. And you look at a guy like Jaden Daniels, you do worry that maybe his play style is going to cause some durability issues. But, by and large, he's shown he can win from the pocket too, right? He is a poised pocket operator. He's very accurate. He's got a good quick game arsenal. So I'm not too worried about that. For me as an evaluator, age is more of a projection issue, right? You look at Jaden Daniels and what he brings to the table, his strengths, his weaknesses, and then you look at guys like Drake May and JJ McCarthy, right? They're 21 years old. Daniels is going to be 24 in December. Penix and Nix are already 24, I think, or close to it. So you look at that aspect, and the question you ask yourself is, yes, Drake May and JJ McCarthy, they're young guys, and those young QB flaws definitely show up on tape, but give them 2 or 3 years, could they be at or beyond the level of a Penix or a Nix or a Daniels at that point, right? So it's more of a projection issue for me because those guys, and especially May, right, at such a young age, yes, his mechanics can be a little inconsistent, which can lead to some situational precision concerns. But some of the things, the intrinsic things that you want QBs to do, process the field, anticipating windows, managing the pocket, right, manipulating DBs, he already does a very high level for being 21 years old. So you project 2 years down the road, he's got a longer developmental runway than a guy like Daniels or Penix or Nix. Those older guys, they're very talented as well, but you worry they might be a little more set in their ways with the bad habits to show up on tape too.
Ian Cummings, he's an NFL draft analyst at Pro Football Network, profootballnetwork.com. Follow Ian on X at IC_draft, IC_draft. By the way, do you think this is a good draft, a very good draft, an draft? I mean, just the draft as a whole, the quarterbacks are sucking so much of the oxygen out of the room. What do you think about the draft as a whole?
Yeah, for sure. And that's just natural with quarterbacks, man. They always draw the most attention. It's just how it is. It's the nature of the position. But I do think a good draft gets overlooked because of that, right? I do think generally this is a good draft class. I think I mentioned earlier the blue chip talent at the top is definitely superior to last year and far superior to 2021. You got guys like Joe Alt, Olu Bushanu, right? Brock Bowers, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Davis, Rome Odunze. The wide receivers, they go without saying, but this wide receiver class in particular is incredibly strong. I think that first round group is very good. I think we could have 5 or 6 guys going round 1, but then that day 2 group as well, right? Like on my board, upwards of almost 24 guys with day 2 potential, right? So I really love not just the top end depth, but also the middle round depth. And there are some sleepers in the later rounds too. The offensive line class is very strong. We talk about a tackle group could maybe break the record for offensive tackles taken in round 1, but you've got a lot of guys who project well on the interior as well. And a lot of middle round gems. On the defensive side of the ball, maybe a little less depth to work with, but I still really like the value that's there. I think this edge group at the very top is very strong. I think the defensive tackle group has a lot of varying molds, and a lot of disruptors who are kind of born to create pressure against the run and the pass. And then you got the corner class, the safety class. I actually like the defensive back group a lot as well. Linebacker and running back are a little bit weaker, but particularly for running back too, I do think day 3, if you can get optimal value, you can get really nice returns on investment with that. So overall, yeah, I think it's a strong class. I think it's got a lot of depth across the board, and that's kind of what we've seen with this COVID year that players now have after 2020. You know, some guys went back last cycle when they had the opportunity to declare, and I think that infused this class with a little more depth. And I think we're gonna see the same thing in 2025 as well.
As you mentioned, it's a little light on defense, a little light on edge rushers. So if you were a team looking for an edge, do you think the edge rushers are going to go early? Do you think they'll slide? What position group do you think could slide? And if you were drafting, if you were looking for an edge, do you have to take one because maybe a lack of depth in rounds 2 and 3?
I think edge is definitely up there. I think you look at the top group, obviously Dallas Turner is my edge 1. And then you got Chop Robinson, Latu. Jared Verse is a very good player as well. But the class drops off a bit after that group, I think. Adisa Isaac from Penn State is still a top 50 guy for me. Marshawn Nealon from Western Michigan is a pretty solid player who might end up having a top 75 grade on my board, top 100 probably. Darius Robinson from Missouri as well, but he's kind of a unique mold where you don't know if he's going to translate perfectly as a stand-up edge at 7 tech. Might be more of a 5 tech on running downs and then shift him inside the 3 tech and 4 eye on passing down. So, you know, there's a little bit of uncertainty past that top group of edge rushers, which is why, you know, if you're a team who really needs an edge rusher, you might be trying to jump at the gun to get a guy in round 1, right? And take him a little earlier than expected, because after that top group, it is a little more uncertainty. You've got guys like Jalen Hunt from Houston Christian as well, who has the athletic traits worth molding. You have a few, you know, smaller day 3 sleepers, Mohamed Kamara, Javon Solomon as well. But by and large, the guaranteed guys that you know have that disruptive potential are probably going to go in round 1. So it's a little precarious for you if you're looking for an edge rusher. I'd say another position, if I have to, most positions have a good balance of depth, but tight end is another one. I would say Brock Bowers, we know he's a weapon by and large. Ben Sinnott from Kansas State is my tight end too. Big fan of what he has to offer. Jared Wiley is a very good player as well. Jatavian Sanders has a role waiting for him as a big slot rack threat, but after that, you're not getting a ton of value there too. So I think if there are 2 positions where guys might get pushed farther up the board because of scarcity down the line, edge is probably the biggest one, and I'd say tight end is up there too.
Any concerns, you know, the Georgia tight end, the Iowa corner with their injuries? Has that affected where it is you've put them on your board?
Not for me personally. I think injuries, mainly if a medical red flag pops up at the NFL Combine, that's probably when it's going to, because then you're wondering about durability down the line in the NFL. But Brock Bowers had tightrope surgery during the year and came back after, I think, about a month or whatever. So a very quick recovery timeline. And he actually started playing down the stretch. And then Cooper DeJean, I think I saw yesterday that he's been cleared and he's going to have a pro day before the draft. So injuries happen. They're a part of the game. I think as an evaluator, you have to kind of take it on a case-by-case basis. And Michael Penix Jr. from Washington is another good example, right? He had 4 season-ending injuries in college. I think 2 torn ACLs, a couple of AC joint issues with the shoulder. And it was a big thing heading up into the combine. But then he went to the combine, got his medical checks, and came back clean. So, you know, guys have injury histories that vary, but you look at that combine check and see if there are any durability issues the doctors see. And, you know, by and large, I think this class, there aren't too many injury red flags. And, you know, obviously things change at the NFL level. You know, it's tough to predict, which is unfortunate. But for those 2 specific guys and in general, I don't think it's too big of a concern this year.
How many players do you give first-round grades to?
That's a good one. I got to go back and sort my board one more time. I think I'm actually going to look at it here. I can tell you confidently this year, I have more first-round grades than I've had in the past. Look, just eyeballing it right now, upwards of 25, 30, I could say. Probably in the 27, 28 range for me. I'm looking at it right now. There's a lot of guys who have that potential. You know, not every year is going to have 32 first-round grades. And for me, it's a little different. I'm still nailing down the round ranges because I've only been using my current scale for a couple of years. But, yeah, I think you have a lot of depth of guys. Positions like wide receiver, like I said, offensive tackle, Joel Olufashanu, Amarius Mims, Taliese Fuaga, Troy Patanu from Washington, J.C. Latham, I said Mims already. Tyler Guyton is kind of on the fringe as well. And then you got guys like Johnny Newton, Byron Murphy II at defensive tackle, corner, Quinyon Mitchell, Terrion Arnold. There's a lot of talent at the top of the board here. And even safety, right? Cooper DeJean, I projected as safety, but he's up there for me as well. Tyler Nubin is on the fringe. I think this year in particular, you have a decent allotment, right? I think running back and linebacker are the two positions where first-round talent is lacking, but you can still find value later on. And ultimately, the positions, the premier positions where you really want that blue chip talent, like wide receiver and offensive tackle and edge as well, there is a lot of first-round talent to have. So I think eyeballing it on my board, I got to finalize it and lock it in before April 15th, but 27, 28, almost 30, which is a pretty big number relative to other years.
Ian, the tough final question. When you look at these wide receivers, do you see a Moss? Do you see somebody that's generational? Or do you just see a whole bunch of outstanding, like 3 Justin Jeffersons, if you know what I mean? I mean, is there anybody here that's, I'm going to pass up a quarterback because I got to get this guy?
That's a good question because the positional value argument plays into that, right? If you needed a quarterback and a wide receiver, theoretically, I would always take the quarterback. So it's a tough question for sure. But then the generational aspect is interesting. And you're leading me to talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. I can feel it because that's been a big talking point for him, being a potentially generational prospect. I know he hasn't worked out this offseason, but everything you need to see is on the tape. And I think about a Randy Moss. I know AJ Green has been the comp that's been thrown around for Harrison Jr. I caution towards, with caution, I lean towards that one just because you never want to have such a lofty comp. But at the same time, thinking back to how Randy Moss won, just being that freakish size athleticism combination, right? He could win jump balls. At the same time, I think people forget one thing that made him so special is obviously the explosiveness and speed, but also how he could apply that as a route runner. I mean, the cutting flexibility, the explosiveness out of his breaks, right, was so good at channeling that. And Marvin Harrison Jr., to me, has that athleticism. He has the cutting ability, the flexibility as a route runner, the nuance, the targeted physicality. So he grades out as over a 9.5 on my scale, which is labeled as generational. He's the best wide receiver prospect that I've evaluated. He's just so complete in all phases and has that full athletic profile. That said, I think this year in particular, right, I would never pass up a quarterback for a guy because a quarterback is so valuable. But also, you've got guys like Malik Neighbors, who's over a 9 for me, still a blue chip prospect, a top 10 prospect on my board. Roma Dunze as well. Brian Thomas Jr. is in my top 15. A.D. Mitchell, Xavier Worthy. Like, this is a very strong wide receiver class. So even if you don't get MHJ, you can still get a really good player down the line. As good as MHJ is, you got to play the board. You got to see what the value is. And this is just we're living in a golden age of wide receiver play. I think this class is kind of the peak of it. I don't know if we'll see a class this strong for a long time.
Ian Cummings, draft analyst, Pro Football Network, ProFootballNetwork.com. Follow Ian on X, IC_draft, IC_draft. Ian, thanks so much for your time. Hopefully we can check in before the draft or right afterwards. Ian Cummings joining us on Miller and Moulton. Seth Everett is next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hi, Seth.
Hi. What's up?
Another day.
I got new glasses. You guys look very clearer.
Had to change the prescription and all that.
Yeah. I got progressives for the first time. Do you wear those? Either of you?
No. What are progressives?
So they're like blended lenses. So like they're not, think bifocals. So like the bottom are reading glasses and the top are for distance.
Yeah.
And they take a little getting used to. But my phone has never looked clearer. And God, my phone is dirty.
I'm still having trouble with the progressives. I keep going back. Like, these are my old glasses, and I do keep going back to them because the progressives have bothered me.
They said that you get used to it, and I definitely feel better. Like I'm more used to it. It's like everything is weird. So like I'm doing this for the first time, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty clear.
Yeah, I had LASIK now. It's 25 years ago.
So did I.
So I've not had any problems with my distance seeing.
Yep. I had LASIK in 1999, and I will text you a great ad because it was sponsored by the radio station that I worked for. And it was a picture that was taken out in the newspaper that had a picture of me and said, I scored big.
It's funny. I got mine done in a similar fashion. The hockey team, we did a whole deal, and me and the owner and one of our players all had it done.
Yep. God, those guys like photocopied that ad and taped it all over the studio.
Anything bothering you today that we want to talk about? I could think about things that you like, but is there anything bothering you? That's more fun.
It's more fun.
What is he, Larry David?
The court, that was fun. I did a whole thing on that.
On them being 9 inches off on the...
Of course it's the women's tournament. Of course it is. The college hockey, I've been watching a lot of that.
We did over the weekend also.
I watched like every game. They are in some barns.
Yeah.
I went.
They have terrible announcers too. Butchergross was fine, but
Roxy Bernstein,
horrible. Rather watch paint dry on a wall than listen to that guy.
Okay, hold on. Don't get him on Sports with Friends. Got it.
Get him on Sports with Friends. I don't care. I'm sure he's a great guy and probably went to Syracuse.
No, not a Syracuse guy, but a good dude.
Oh.
He was okay. I was more.
Seth, he used to do Marlins games, and he and Dave Van Horn, who's a Hall of Fame announcer, they had no chemistry. It was so bad and awkward. We used to joke they were doing it in different rooms.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Third and final hour of Miller and Moulton on this hump day, at least along the network. The Diamond District bonus hour for the 239 is an hour away. But if it is Wednesday at 8, that means it is time for Seth Everett. He is Sports with Friends Hall of Justice. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett, Seth_Everett. So is that an Arsenal?
Yes, it's my match day jersey. Arsenal
Your match day jersey.
No, it's not an authentic one. It's not an authentic one, but it's a jersey. I collect jerseys. What do you want from me? I have the match day jersey. Arsenal has a big game against Luton today. 3:00. I will be there. Not there.
Next
I'll
Luton?
be here.
Luton.
It's the cough drops. It's the team based on cough drops.
So let me get this straight. So you're like, ditching your work and your family at 3:00 for Arsenal. They
For
are
2 hours. I will be watching that game. Yeah, for 2 hours.
So they're that high on the pecking order of your life. They've grown that much that quickly.
Yes. Oh, yes. They're so fun. It's such a fun thing, and they're right battling for the top of the table. Every game is vital. There's 9 games left. It's fun.
Did you catch that?
If the New Jersey Devils were in a playoff race that mattered right now, would you be as into Arsenal as you are?
It would be the same, but I would be into the Devils more. They're torture to watch. So there'll be a game tonight. It'll be on in our house, but we'll be throwing things at the TV.
How are the daughters taking the Devils season? Because last year it was a little unexpected. They make the playoffs. The family all got into it. It was cool, for lack of a better term, Seth, listening to you talk about the camaraderie you had with your daughters over a team, not the father-daughter stuff that makes up every day, but something that you guys bonded on was special last year. And they got into it, and they were into it this year, and the team's kind of, stunk on them. How has this year been?
They have broken it down. My oldest, she's the biggest fan, and she she knows about the 51 games in which the Devils have not scored first. She keeps hitting that home. And the other one is I think it's 17 points that the Devils have given up against teams that stink. Arizona, Ottawa, these teams that are bad. If you flipped half of either one of those statistics, you're in the playoffs. So it's just
your 14-year-old daughter, right?
What?
Is your 14-year-old daughter?
She's 15, going to be 16 in August.
Okay, so your 15-year-old daughter. So you mean to tell me that over breakfast in the morning before she goes to school, that she is lamenting, all right? I mean, because this is...
it'll be in a couple of hours during her history class, too.
Okay, because this is pretty gooberish. I mean, I have to admit, I'm impressed.
It's nonstop. It's during the day, and then if the Devils have a practice and they announce something, I will get text messages during the day. I no longer need to be on the media list for anything hockey related, because if it comes down, my daughter tells me.
I mean, Seth, I have to admit, if I had a 15 or 16-year-old son, I would literally say, listen, I have a girl for you to meet. Okay. I mean, this is impressive stuff here.
I know it has exceeded my expectations. We're not as into it as we were, but she still wants to go. There's a spring break next week. We want to go. We're going to go to the game against Toronto. I'm going to take her down to Philly just for a little daddy-daughter drive. We're going to go to Philly. We'll watch Devils Flyers, and we're still fans. It's just it's infuriating how easy it could have been to make the playoffs. This team is.
But it sounds like your daughter's fandom may have increased. I mean, as opposed to the team being worse and fandom dwindling, it sounds like her fandom has increased in a year that they've been bad. That's pretty impressive.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll try to bring a little brevity to the whole thing. She follows a lot of their girlfriends on Instagram. This is the new 2024 how you be a sports fan. And there's a kid that got called up from the AHL. This Max Willman, and the girlfriend posted a video. She was at the game and she said, "I think Max is going to score." And then 10 seconds later, he scored. She posted that on TikTok or Instagram, whatever it was, and that made the rounds. My daughter was cracking up. She said, "Can you believe this? The girlfriend predicted he was going to score." She goes, "She manifested it." And I was like, okay, now slow down. I said, because if that's true, could she do a little bit for Jesper Brett and Jack Hughes a little bit too?
I was going to say, just talk to the goalies' girlfriends. They're not getting in the work. It's the old like Lou Holtz line. You know, what's wrong with William and Mary? Mary's not providing enough help. I mean, come on now.
But the funniest was last night, and Mark, you'll appreciate this. They had just a blast from the past. Some guy was in town, and they put him on during the intermissions. Do you remember Claude Vilgrain?
No.
One of the rarest African-American players. He was the only one on the Devils, and at the time, he played right before they changed the unis to black. It was like the early '90s. Played with Marty, and I remembered him. I remembered him as a player. He was a player.
We're having fun at you talking about playing with Marty.
That's Martin Brodeur for those.
Brodeur, yeah.
You got to remember
he played with Marty.
Oh well, he played with Marty. It's like playing with Sid. Okay, it's like playing with Ovechkin.
Fine, you got me.
He played with Marty. It's like playing with Gretzky. He played with Marty.
Shamil Shamazel. Anyway, I got a kick out of that, and they could not care less. They were just like, "This is boring. This is old people stuff," and I was like, "Okay."
Seth Everett joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton. Hey, first off, did you watch Iowa LSU on Monday night? Were you one of the 12.3 million? And secondly, I'm sure you had to get a kick out of the fact that in Portland they couldn't get the court right.
Yeah, well, there's two things there. First of all, 12.3 million people. That was more than every game of the last year's World Series, and all but one of the NBA Finals.
Right, but it outrated the finals as a whole, correct?
As a whole, yes.
Right.
And I was impressed with that. I'm not shocked anymore. It's been compelling. The thing with the court is what I didn't like was that it happened. They saw it and they said, "No, let's not delay the game. Let's just play it." Rather than, hey, fix this so it's fair.
Well, they left it up to the coaches, in fairness.
Right.
Okay. And first off, the fact that they had all the practices, they had played multiple games on the court, and no one noticed, and literally somebody in the stands is who pointed out that. I have to admit, I'm shocked that no one from either team.
I couldn't believe that.
Pointed it out because. I mean, Mark and I talked about it. I don't know if we did it on air or off air, but also, Seth, you as a broadcaster, we happen to think that we would have walked in the arena, put our stuff down at the scorer's table, looked around and said, "What the heck?"
Yeah, you would think. I mean, the photos, look, it's easy. Hindsight's 20/20. So it's easy to see the photos and say, wait a second, how egregious is this? And I just didn't understand how it was just like this defeatist attitude, like, yeah, we'll just.
Well, here's what the coaches said. First off, the coaches were a little bothered, not just by the court, but the fact that they found this 12 minutes. The clock had 12 and a half minutes on it when they're talking to the two coaches. And the coaches talked it out. And they're like, well, we've both played on this court and we both won on it. And we're both going to shoot twice on that side and on the other. And they said it'll take at least an hour to fix it. And the coaches were like, no, let's just play. We're ready to play now.
Yeah. And I was just trying to make the parallel. Could you imagine if second base was off center or the goalpost?
Seth, I'm with you on every level. How after doing it, there wasn't a second check? I mean, it's a tape measure. This sounds way too simple. This isn't blowing a weight room off like they did last year and all the horrific things they did with the. This is simple stuff.
Agreed. The this weekend I saw the hockey tournament, the NCAA hockey tournament, and one of the regionals was in Maryland County, Missouri.
Yes.
The definition, Miller and Moulton, of a barn. That game was in a barn. That they did the pan-arounds of that stadium that is smaller than what the Arizona Coyotes are playing in. And last week I was at an American Hockey League game and still that place was smaller. I understand that you don't want to play the regionals in big NHL arenas, but you've got to do better than Maryland County, Missouri. That was literally that's where Michigan played Michigan State the first time in that historic rivalry that they're playing in the NCAA tournament, and 12 people saw it. It's weird.
He's Seth Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. Hey, we are with you, and Miller and Moulton watched an awful lot of the NCAA hockey tournament.
It's been great, right? The games have been
outstanding. It is, and we think the Frozen Four should be in Tampa every year because seriously, they do an amazing job, and everybody loves coming. Okay.
Yeah, that arena in St. Paul is gorgeous. I've been there.
It is. No. And obviously it's a great Atlanta, hockey in Minnesota could be the number one state for hockey in our country. Okay. But I happen to think that the BCBU, Michigan and whatever fans would actually prefer to be watching the games.
Of course. Right. The cool thing about the hockey tournament as opposed to the basketball tournament is what the announcers can say is what team has already drafted them.
Yes.
And that's kind of cool. Like you
Agreed.
see a guy and he's going to be on the Washington Capitals and he's going to be on the Chicago Blackhawks. And, in basketball, he's going to be a free agent. He's going to be a free agent. He's going to be a free agent. Sorry. Couldn't resist.
All right. We got 30 seconds. Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice, go.
Sports with Friends. Phil Nevin, former player, former manager. Last year managed Ohtani. Phil Nevin is on Sports with Friends. It's a great conversation.
You can bet that'll be a good one.
Yeah, he's a good one. He's also an old Darryl Hamilton buddy, so we got to swap some stories, and it was fun. Phil Nevin on Sports with Friends. And Hall of Justice is a gentleman by the name of Larry Houston, who was the executive producer of the original X-Men series, and he is a consultant on the new X-Men series. So it's the hottest show going on right now in streaming, X-Men 97. We break down all of that on the Hall of Justice.
Wasn't he like the number one overall pick of the draft, Phil Nevin?
Yeah. Not that guy.
Seth
Not
Everett.
that guy.
Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. Seth, good luck with your match. Since you're competing for the top of the table.
The table. It's a fixture.
Good luck at 3:00 today. Seth Everett joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton.
It's a fixture. What, did he get a new lamp?
I know. What is this, a coffee table? I thought it was the top of the table. What the heck? Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening.
Zing.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Guys, I need some good thoughts in the next hour.
All right.
My wife is at the surgeon's office. We have had nothing but bad news. She is in very bad shape physically. Need to
Need
get
a
her
good
some,
day today.
Need to get her some pain relief. I mean, because unfortunately, she's got osteoporosis and her body's just falling apart, but we need to get her some pain relief. Life is not a lot of fun when you're in a lot of pain. So, thank you, everyone. You need some good thoughts. It's a good visit. Not to get too detailed, but what my wife does for a living, she's not allowed to take it. But believe me, it is such that my wife may need to have to give up what it is she does because she may just have to deal with the pain. Just here's some good news. Haven't had a lot in a long time. Yeah, send it my wife's way, but I know what you're saying. Appreciate it. Could use it. We're taking the first week in July off, right?
Correct.
Okay.
We got the Super Show coming in from the 1st to the 3rd, and best of the 4th to the 5th, right?
Yeah.
Okay. AB, I have to admit, my mom gets a kick out of all of you. She loves the Twitch chat room. She thinks you guys are funny, loves your snark. My mom calls me all the time and goes, "Man, your group in that chat room, they are something."
Did you give your mother my mother's line?
No, she's probably watching right now. Lay it on her.
So, my Aunt Renee has early Alzheimer's, and it's horrible and all that. But my mom was going to have to perhaps take care of her for a couple of months. It didn't work out what she had to. But the problem is my Aunt Renee smokes like a chimney, and it drives my mother nuts. So my mother was going to tell her sister, her younger sister, when she came to the house, said, no, don't you remember you quit smoking like 3-4 years ago?
That's as good as it gets.
Let me tell you, it's tough to have Alzheimer's humor, and that's funny.
I mean, it's worth a shot.
And it's so true. My mother-in-law's really slipping. And yeah, there are times in which I go in and an hour later I go in and we have to have the exact same conversation.
It's all right. I played golf with three guys, and guy told me the story on the 10th tee.
And
then told me the same story on the 18th tee. And it was the three guys. They're all Michigan grads. There was in the one Sparty, and I just let them go on 18. And finally, the guy that I know of the three looks at him. He goes, you told him that story on 10. And he looks at me and he goes, did I? I said, yeah, I was just letting you go. You seem to be rolling.
Here we go.
On a roll.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes after the hour, we're going to have a Miller and Moulton first coming up in a few moments. All right. Trent is getting a play of the day mulligan. All right. Trent did a solid for, someone in his life an hour ago in the play of the day. And that was nice. It was cute. All right, Trent, who was the guy at the Gator baseball game yesterday?
Andrew, right?
His name's Andrew. He's in 5th grade.
Right.
Oh, look at that.
Right. And he was one of your favorite students.
Yep.
Right?
He was the one his mom's the secretary, and she let me take him out for March Madness during school last year.
Right. By the way, are you allowed to, as a teacher, are you allowed to have favorite students? Is that like being a parent and you can't, I love all my children the same? Right.
No, because so teachers probably shouldn't, but if you're a substitute, you're like, I'm not really a teacher. I can have favorites. What is this?
I'm a rental, so I can have a favorite.
Yes.
Okay. So Andrew's
Teachers all don't.
Oh, they have them.
Your brother's a teacher.
Oh yeah.
Your mom's a teacher, right?
Yes.
They don't tell me they don't have favorites. Now, they can't announce to the class that, Bobby, you're my favorite. Lisa, I don't like you very much. That can't be done.
That's a better way to put it. They all do. They just don't vocalize it.
You just wait till the yearbook, right? You put that in the yearbook if you're the teacher. You just wait till the very end. So anyway, Trent did a solid for young Andrew, who apparently was listening. Andrew, thanks for listening. And hope you had fun at the Gator baseball game last night. So Trent played a homer. They hit a bunch of homers. They beat FAMU. And it was a not very enthusiastic call.
No.
To put it lightly.
It was a bad call for a home run. It was, for a home run call, it was a bad home run call.
Right. I mean, the guy almost sounded as if he actually wasn't there. He was doing it off a monitor from his bedroom. He was so excited. Okay. So, which is causing problems. I don't know if anybody, it's on awful announcing. So Dan Schulman and Buck Martinez, Toronto doesn't send their guys on the road. And they had to do the game off the monitor, and things got very confusing for them down the stretch. They literally didn't know how a guy ended up on second. They couldn't explain it. They didn't see it because the TV cameras didn't catch it. We went from first and third to second and third. They had no idea how the guy ended up on second. That's a problem, I think, if you're broadcasting the game. Anyway, so there was stuff that happened last night, though, in baseball. Dramatic moment in the top of the ninth in Houston. Down 1-0. Blue Jay, 2 outs against Josh Hader in the ninth. Hits a 2-run homer. They win 2-1. But Bryce Harper had himself a night last night.
He did. He had 3.
Not 1, not 2, but 3. And the third one was, special.
Yeah, it's hooked deep to right center field. No doubt about it. A 3-homer game. He caps it off with a grand slam. What a night to be Bryce Harper. 2 solo home runs, a grand slam, and the Phillies lead it 8-1.
Tom McCarthy, TV voice of the Phillies. There you go.
Now, that was excited. I want to play it again, and I want to preface it by listen to the crack of the bat, listen to the color analyst blow the play-by-play guy's call with one word.
Yeah, it's hooked deep to right center field. No doubt about it. A 3-homer game. He caps it off with a grand slam.
Catch that? Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's John Kruk. Okay, who's
I don't care.
I'm just he's enthusiastic.
It's not his job.
John Kruk.
What do you mean it's not his job?
He's an analyst. The play-by-play guy has the enthusiasm. The color guy provides analysis of what just happened. He doesn't scream out, yeah, when the ball was hit. He is supposed to not talk.
Mark, how about if that was his analysis?
Well,
how do you describe what just happened? It's a grand slam. Yeah. I mean, back to you, Jim, in the studio.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, he probably emptied the clip on the second homer and had no more analysis to give for the third one.
well, poor Kruk. I think it was just the night before he said that I don't know, they're playing the Reds and guys at the plate with the bases loaded, and he said, Tom, this guy's never hit a grand slam. The next pitch, boom, salami. So
a double Molly made play of the day because Trent went Florida Gator baseball an hour ago.
On a very, very below average call, no enthusiasm, but he's taking care of his favorite student, the teacher's pet, Andrew.
Already got a message from his mom.
That's good. That's nice. But we equated it in the radio business that we had one T-shirt left. All right. And Trent gave it to a friend. Meanwhile, the longtime listeners show up with their cute kid and they're like, hey, do you have any T-shirts left? And Trent has just given our last T-shirt away to a buddy. We're like, Bryce Harper had 3 home runs. One of them was salami. And the play of the day, some homer in the Gator FAMU game.
Right, and it wasn't Gators beating the Knowles.
No,
or the Canes.
and it wasn't a walk-off, 11-10 Gators.
FAMU, baby, the Rattlers. Hey,
right.
Florida is number 6 in the nation, too. So, that's something.
Yeah, it was right. A Tuesday night game against the Rattlers. Right.
A one-off, too. It's not even a series.
No.
And it was an over, like all Tuesday games are.
Do you know FGCU was playing FIU last night, and they got like a 6-2 lead, third or fourth inning, and I don't know, they had a power outage. Had to cancel the game. Man,
That's one way to get a W.
Well, no. No, it's a no contest.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Especially when you're up 6-2 or 6-3 or whatever they were. Yeah. Plus also, I don't think the team's staying in a hotel and, they're coming back and playing again today.
No.
I think they bust over from Miami and they're busting back, right? So that's a lot of college baseball on the show today, especially midweek college baseball.
It's more than we'll have between now and the College World Series would be my imagine.
Listen, we got to get back talking the draft.
Yeah.
What the heck is going on? So anyway, that's a second Molly made play of the day. We felt Trent needed a mulligan.
We quite literally cleaned up. I don't want to call it a mess because it was a...
No, it was a mess.
Oh, no, it was a mess. No, it was a mess. You broke something you with your, sweeper there. Because, Molly made, we'll stick with the theme. Sweeper. With your sweeper, the handle knocked something off the table, and it was ceramic, and it broke.
And it was an heirloom, and now I'm in a deep pile of what.
Well, we replaced it, with a replica. That's what we did. Hopefully they won't catch on.
Miller and Moulton. 21,000 is the text line. If you miss any part of the show, go to millerandmoulton.com or wherever you download your podcast to pick up anything you may have missed.
I know I'm consumed with this, but if you're the Patriots, are you drafting a quarterback at 3?
Everything says that they are.
I know, and I am obsessed with this because if I was them, I wouldn't. I'd trade that pick to the highest bidder. And I'm not taking a quarterback, I don't think, later on either.
So who would you go after? Minnesota?
Yeah, the Minnesota, Denver. I mean, somebody, you want your guy? I mean, somebody's got to really want Drake May, right? Somebody? Yeah, you're going to have him. Here, take him. Don't care. I'm not drafting a quarterback. We suck. Our roster's terrible. No, I'm not starting the clock on a rookie quarterback this year. Not doing it. I'm letting Jacoby Brissett get beat up and go 4-13. Be in position to draft another one next year. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GIA certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commissioned and educational presentation, and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. We're listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I just hope they play, Sonny.
Where do you guys think Bronny's going?
Well, when he chose USC, he chose them over Oregon and Ohio State.
He's now posting the pictures of him in every jersey again. And so far, he's posted West Virginia, Ohio State, and Duke. He's going to Ohio State, right? New coach. Not new coach, but fresh coach. Familiar area.
I was
Probably
saying
has a lot of friends
FGCU.
there.
Pat Chambers got a lot of connections.
That would be outstanding. A guy can dream. Pat Chambers. So yesterday we played beer pong in the pool.
Yep.
On like a floating
Right.
raft.
I own one.
Okay. And my mom and I are partners in like everything. We just always we match each other's energy really well. And she made one, which she doesn't make many. She makes one, and she was so excited that she turned to like give me a high five right away, and like really got into it. And she ended up hitting me in the face because she's shorter. She's like 5'1". Damn. I was like, oh. Okay.
So we play it with water, not beer.
Right, we do too.
So I play it against my daughter in the pool. We just sit on because we've got like a long, I don't know, whatever area that's about 6 inches deep. And so I sit on one side, she sits on the other. And I looked at her the other day. I said, if you were this competitive in softball or soccer, you'd be great. Because she loses to me and she doesn't speak to me for a half hour. And I don't know how to let people win. I refuse to let her win. Taught her how to play gin, the card game. She's never beat me.
That's great. She's funny, man. Watching her go right at you.
Oh,
that was hilarious. She's relentless.
I think Eric Musselman's going to get the USC job.
Really?
Oh.
He's a West Coast guy. Him and his wife, they're West Coast people.
I love Eric Musselman. Like, I really missed him in the tournament this year. It was a thing for me. A couple years ago when Gonzaga was a wagon with Chet Holmgren, they upset him in the, was that the Sweet 16? I picked that. No one else in America did. I was so ecstatic. Well, then water finds its level, and I pick Auburn to win it all this year, and then,
That went well.
That's why we love it.
Yeah.
Mark, you had UConn, right?
I had UConn beating Purdue.
So you're still very much alive. For all the crap we gave Mark about being boring.
Yeah, but I had Kentucky. I had Duke beating Houston.
Okay.
I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Did you have 3 1s and a 3?
Yeah.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes till the top of the hour when we're done along the network. Diamond District Bonus Hour is just a segment away. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Can I play a little game with you?
Sure. I love games.
It's let's see, what would the game be called? Be called quarterback, trade, hold. That's the game.
All right.
So if you're these teams, are you picking a quarterback? Are you trading the pick? Or are you holding on and just taking the best player that's not a quarterback? All right. So
Okay.
You're the GM of all these teams. We're going to assume Caleb Williams goes 1 to the Bears, and we're going to assume Jaden Daniels goes 2 to Washington. All right. New England, quarterback, trade, or hold?
Trade.
Okay. If Minnesota offered you 11 and 23, is that enough?
I mean, I'd dig to get something else out of them.
But if they said, listen, we don't have a second-round pick this year, and I don't know if they have a second-round pick next year either. But they don't have a second-round pick this year. So the likelihood is the extra pick, it was either a third round or later this year, or you got to take a 2025.
Yeah,
pick.
Minnesota doesn't have a second or a third this year.
Right.
They have a high 4th round pick. It's 108. I would ask for that. That would, give me another pick basically in the top 100.
Okay.
And I think I'd get it for the
right.
record. I think I would get that.
Okay. Arizona at 4. Quarterback, trade, hold.
I might hold.
Okay. And take best player available?
Take Harrison right there.
Take Marvin Harrison. So, hey, listen, I don't know how You can be criticized for it. I mean, on a lot of teams, it's the best player on the board, right?
Right.
We got the best player in the draft at 4.
At 4.
Right. Besides, we've got a quarterback. We can all debate whether or not they do or not, but they got one. And I think this year he just starts getting paid. I think the contract kicks in this year.
Yeah, that's correct.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But if you do believe in Kyler and you think there's going to be a resurgence, getting Marvin Harrison wouldn't hurt.
Well, right. I mean, I think we find out right away, the year 2 with this coach, I think he'll be able to determine after this year, if he can't get the ball to him, we got to get somebody else who can get the ball to him. All right. Chargers.
I'm really pissed off that the Arizona Cardinals just took Marvin Harrison Jr. If that happens and I'm the Chargers, I'm not happy. Because I was hoping that they would trade, they'd take a quarterback and then I would end up at 5 getting Harrison after getting rid of both of my receivers.
Fair enough. Now you could still, whether it's the Washington kid, the LSU kid, I mean, we just had Ian Cummings on and he said, hey, I've got 3 wide receivers graded 90 or higher. I've got Harrison graded, I think it was 95 or 96, he said, which is generational. But he had 2 other receivers that he had between 90 and 92.
Right. And he has neighbors ahead of the Washington kid.
A Dunzy,
yeah.
Okay. So you're the Chargers. Quarterback's obviously out, but quarterback, trade, or hold. You can get whoever you think's best offensive lineman, edge rusher, you name it. The draft is your oyster here at 5.
I'd probably hold.
Okay.
And I'll put a caveat on it, David, because if Denver or Minnesota come calling, I would be inclined to listen to what they have to say to go back a few spots because.
Okay. Now let's assume that New England took Drake May at 3. So Arizona takes Harrison. So now you're the Chargers and Minnesota calls. Is 11 and 23 and they go, and by the way, that's it. Nothing else. 11 and 23.
Done.
Okay.
Done.
Fair enough.
Because I think if I'm the Chargers, I think they may want a receiver. They may want an O-lineman. I think it doesn't matter. At 11, you're going to get a really talented player at either of those position groups there, David.
Yeah. It looks as if you're going to get a plug-and-play tackle, or a plug-and-play interior lineman, an edge rusher, Brock Bowers potentially, although the Jets are at 10 and he's been mentioned there. So, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Giants at 6. Quarterback, hold, trade.
Trade or hold. I wouldn't take a quarterback if I was the Giants there. I'm not enamored with the guys that are there if the top 3 guys are gone. I don't think McCarthy's going to be the pro that everybody else does. I'm not drafting him.
Okay.
Just curious, what would you do there for the Giants? You're the Giants fan. You're much more invested in that team than I am. I'm just curious your thoughts.
Yeah, if I'm the Giants, I'm trying to move down to 11 or 12. I'm hoping that they can get the Vikings or the Broncos can get the quarterback that they want with my pick at 6. I would really like to trade down. Really like to trade down. Because also the Giants only have 6 picks in this draft. And obviously they got a lot of holes on that roster. So they need picks. They need players. Also, I think 6 is like Mark. I actually think there's a theory going around with the Giants that the Giants may try to take the wide receiver from Washington at 6 and then see if they can somehow get Penix in the 20s. And then this way Penix is, and now Penix turns 24, by the way, like the day of the draft or something like that. So
in the 20s, how the hell do the Giants think they're getting back into the first round? They don't have any picks.
Well, they have a second rounder. They have picks in 2025. All right. That's how you get back into the draft. I mean, for example, the Dolphins are what, at 21?
And have no picks.
And they have no picks. They have a first rounder, a second rounder, and then they don't have anything to the 5th round. So now all of a sudden, if the Giants call and you're the Dolphins, And the Giants are picking what, like 38, 37, 38, 39? So you're dropping down 15 or so spots. How many extra picks can I get by dropping down 15 or so spots? Well, you certainly can get the second rounder off the Giants' hands.
Which isn't theirs, by the way. It's not pick 6 in the second round. It's pick 15 in the second round.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
47 overall. It's Seattle's pick. Just for what it's worth. Just
right. Well, that's important, though, because now you're moving down 25 spots.
Right.
Instead of 15, so that's significant. But they have 5 picks, and they have nothing in between round 2 and round 5. So you tell me, how much is the Giants' second, third, and fourth round picks worth? Like, if you're Miami, would you move down 25 spots? Give me your second, third, and fourth.
Boy. I'd have to consider it because of the lack of picks that Miami has and the spots that they need to fill on their roster.
So now, yes, you're out of the first round, which has its advantages and disadvantages. You do not as much guaranteed money, only a 4-year contract versus a 5 if you move out. But then the Dolphins would have 2 second rounders, 2 thirds, 2 fourths. Or no, 2 twos,
1 third, 1
2 twos,
fourth.
a 3, and a 4. I'm sorry. So, and then also my guess is you could get something from the Giants for next year. You could get a second or third round pick out of the Giants for next year. And you're counting on the Giants not being good. That you're counting on that being a top 15 pick in the round, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, is that enough? But there's a thought out there because Dable has apparently gone to see one quarterback work out. It was Penix. So that's why he and the Giants are. Do the Giants trade down and then go get Penix? Do they, that this is really where Joe Shane and Brian Dable show once and for all. Did they really like Daniel Jones, or did the owner really like Daniel Jones?
Everybody's intrigued by Chicago, not only for the draft, but what they bring to the table next year with what they did this year.
Uh-huh.
I'm intrigued by the Packers because they were good, and they've got 5 picks in the first 91 picks of the draft. A 1, 2 2s, and 2 3s for a team that was in the playoffs a year ago.
A team that was also one of the youngest, if not the youngest team. So do you hold on to all 5 picks and continue to be incredibly young? Or do you use those picks and maneuver around and maybe turn those 5 picks into 3 players?
So I'm intrigued by what the Packers do on the first 2 days of the draft based on what they have in front of them.
David, they were the youngest team in the league. So,
yeah,
Mark, I think you're onto something. Now I hope they royally F it up, but
well, that's just because you don't like the Packers, but,
right?
But I'm not a big Packer fan either. But I think they're in a great spot.
They are.
I would just stay young and draft more players, and
okay.
I think the roster's pretty good. I don't know.
They outplayed the Niners. They outplayed the Niners.
They did. You know who blew that game? Jordan Love, and nobody is saying that. I feel like I'm like, did everybody see the same game I did? They were in total control of that game. Total control. And Jordan Love gave it away. And no one is saying that. I mean, I'm not anti-Jordan Love, but I got to admit, I've seen him in person 3 times. He's yet to play a good game. A month before the playoffs, he got outplayed by Tommy Cutlets on Monday Night Football. I mean, are we sure that Jordan Love is the answer? We know he's the guy. We know he's their franchise quarterback. But are you sure about Jordan Love going forward? He is very inconsistent still.
Maybe you grab Spencer Rattler with one of those picks in day 2.
So, that's my thing. I love what the GM has done in transforming that roster in the last 2 years. I don't know if Jordan Love's the answer. I think he's both the answer and the problem. And he needs to get rid of being the problem. I mean, he blew that game against the Niners. Made 2 horrendous throws to turn that game around and cost them the game at the end. Horrendous. But we'll see. The week before against Dallas, first 2.5 quarters against the Niners. Oh, my goodness. This is Aaron Rodgers in 2010 all over again. And then he resorted to being Jordan Love. Here's the other thing that Green Bay needs. They need Christian Watson to stay healthy. The second-round pick from 2 years ago out of North Dakota State, he can't stay on the field, man. And nobody else has his speed on that roster. They need him on the field. And he's got hamstring issues, Mark, and he's had them 2 years in a row. That's a problem. It's, Darren Waller, the tight end who's now with the Giants and was with the Raiders. He's got hamstring issues. Guess what? Doesn't matter what team he's with, doesn't matter how he changes his offseason conditioning. Guess what Darren Waller has? More hamstring problems. They got to get Christian Watson right. They need him. That's a weapon.
Maybe they take the kid from Texas at 25.
You're kind of thinking.
That's.
Most people haven't penciled into the Chiefs at 32, but we get, it's truth serum time. Looking around the room, are we sold? Or you're going to put your job that Christian Watson's going to play 14 games each of the next 2 years? Yes or no? And be ready for us. And we need him in January, by the way. You sold that Christian Watson's going to be available?
Because if not,
we got to replace
this
him.
kid runs a 4.21.
Right. Maybe we bring this kid in. Christian Watson's hamstrings will get healthier. Who knows?
And with the new return rules, speed will kill. And you do have to factor in now when you're drafting players, special teams have now become back a part of the National Football League.
Well, we've had a couple of signings here in the last week because of the kickoff rules. Was it the Browns who signed a special teams ace earlier in the week to a multi-year deal? And what the Steelers did with Cordarrelle Patterson, like 10 minutes after the new rule change about the kickoffs. I like it.
So we're getting ready for the draft. And we will be doing our live draft show on Twitch once again. Twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. David remains calm and level-headed throughout. About pick 15, I switch from beer to brown, and all hell will break loose.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Hey, Trent.
What's up?
If I gave you the Pistons tonight in 11.5 in Atlanta, would you take it? We have some huge NBA lines because of all the teams that are tanking.
Right.
Like the Lakers on the road, second of back-to-backs, are a 13.5-point favorite in Washington. What am I missing? Washington beat Milwaukee last night. You've got Detroit getting 11.5 in Atlanta. Milwaukee is home laying 13.5 against Memphis. Toronto, which is tanking like you wouldn't believe, is a 16.5-point dog at the T-Wolves.
I would take that one because the T-Wolves are still playing hard.
So you'd lay the 16.5?
I'd lay the 16.5, yeah.
Remember, we got burned earlier. Well, Portland at Orlando on Monday night. We got burned on that one. E.B. Hill, I didn't see it as a report. I saw it as a CBS Sports article talking about who they think would be prime candidates to be traded. And they were all in the mold of Godwin, where they were 27, had 1 year left on their contract.
Well, Stroud was talking about it from the Tampa Bay Times, too. He had in his podcast. I just saw it as a headline about Godwin being moved.
Now, I will say he's a pretty big cap hit this year. I think he's like 24.5. But if you're trading for Godwin, then you're committing to signing him.
Correct.
I saw a thing yesterday in which they rated the best number 2 wide receivers in the NFL. And Godwin came in 10th.
I would like to see that article. Where'd you see that?
I don't know. I saw it on X. I will say if I'm the Bucks, I'm inclined to take best defensive player on the board in the first round, but I could be convinced to take a wide receiver. I mean, think about it. Evans signed a 2-year deal, and Godwin's got 1 year left on his contract.
That's where I'm using a day 2 pick, though.
Okay.
If the receiver class is that stacked, I'd take the edge, David, because there's not that many of them if he's there, and worry about my receiver on Friday.
So if you're New England, what if I threw this draft out at you? You take
We're about to
Harris.
come back, just so you know.
Goodness.
You got 3 seconds.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hold on tight, because I feel myself losing control as we start the bonus hour of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. I've got the fever. I mean,
It didn't take much.
No. One draft analyst. Book one draft analyst, and I'm a mess.
So it's so amazing because David books the show. And Ian Cummings, who was on the show to talk draft with us today. I'd been reading his top 100. I literally printed it out the other day of his top 100 draft players. And that's why I started where I did, because he said he's going to redo his board.
On April 15th, he's going to redo his board.
But his 25th ranked player is Jaden Daniels.
Right.
He has Harrison ranked 1, Drake May ranked 2. Caleb Williams 3, Joe Alt, the tackle from Notre Dame 4, Brock Bowers, the tight end from Georgia 5. You can get the rest of it at pfn365.com. But Jaden Daniels is 25.
I think the concern there is his frame, right? His size.
His legs are thin. Okay.
And just his style of play.
Ian's the first analyst that I've heard say that he thinks he's a little inconsistent throwing the ball. I mean, I have to admit, I think he's incredibly accurate throwing the ball. The one that I think is inconsistent throwing the ball is Drake May. But Ian had it the other way around. And yeah, he's very much a Drake May guy. Which is why I so want to do the draft for the Patriots. I really do. I don't know what it is. And I love Belichick too. So normally I want to do the draft for Bill, but now I so want to do the Patriots draft. Okay, here, I'm going to throw this out at you. Now, let's take trades out of it. They're stuck drafting where they're drafting. What has New England not had in 15 years?
A
wide receiver.
Thank you. So this is a great wide receiver draft class, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. third, and I'm going to take Ladd McConkey with my pick early in the second round. That's where I'm ending this once and for all. Okay, we're going to have weapons. Free agent quarterbacks are going to want to come here and play. All right, and when I draft a quarterback, we're going to be ready to go. I'm ending this. We haven't had a receiver since Moss. We've had a tight end, obviously, Gronk, one of the best of all time. We have not had a receiver. I mean, Edelman was a possession receiver before that, Welker, but you know what I mean. I'm talking about a receiver in which you're like, we got to double team him.
That we throw the 50-50 ball up and our guy's going to get it more times than not. I've got you. This is very unusual for you, though, David. Don't you at least find yourself, I mean, if you were to do this in a mirror, would you be confused talking to yourself because you're the guy? Documented. Years of documentation. Take a quarterback every year until you get it right. And here are the Patriots in a spot that they are never in.
Right.
With the opportunity to draft a quarterback.
They're going
and you do not want them to draft a quarterback.
They're going to have the same opportunity next year. That's the other thing. They are. They're going to have a top 10 pick in the draft next year. And it could be top 5, even with Harrison and McConkey. But I think I'm ending this once and for all. We need weapons. This is a modern day NFL. You got to score some points. All right. I'm getting weapons. I'm putting defenses on notice. You can't cover us. McConkey runs like a sub 4.4. I mean, don't think of him as some possession guy. Ladd McConkey is going to be a hell of a number 2 wideout in the NFL. He really is. And there's a part of me that's like, I am ending this once and for all. We're going to be so good at receiver, Jacoby Brissett's going to look decent. Okay, that's how good we're going to be at receiver.
And then when you go to get your receiver, he's going to be over the moon because you've got these 2 guys that are probably going to make the all-rookie team.
Get your quarterback, you mean?
Yeah. When your quarterback comes in the next year.
So there's a part of me that's,
Round 2, you can get McConkey, the wide receiver from Georgia, or you can get Keon Coleman, the wide receiver from Florida State. Who would you take?
Oh, now see, if he falls, that's dirty right there.
Just asking questions, David. I'm just here asking questions.
That's dirty. All right, man, oh man. They're different receivers.
They are.
One's bigger, more physical. I actually think McConkey's a step faster.
Probably is. But Coleman's big. He's 6'3".
I know.
He's a red zone weapon.
I know. By the way, do we think Brock Bowers is a generational tight end? He was great in college. Great in college. But you know what generational means, Mark?
Yeah. Gronk and Kelsey.
Right. Generational is there's no one-on-one in the league that can cover you.
And here's the other part of it, David, is that it's a position that is devalued quite a bit. I mean,
and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, because if Gary Danielson has taught me anything, and he's taught me 1,800 things about football, is early when he dragged me along with him, he said, "Let me tell you and show you what a tight end can do." And boy, if you think about it, the teams that have those tight ends that are uncoverable, look at what they do to defenses. It's tougher to cover a tight end than it is a wideout. It is. It's been proven.
The term generational tight end as a prospect, I don't think even exists, because Gronk and Kelsey were both day 2 picks. And then if you who are the most recent top 10 tight end picks? It's TJ Hawkinson, Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts, who's like, so far, not maybe of his own doing, hasn't amounted to much.
Well, think about it, though. Pitts went what? Fourth?
Okay.
Yeah. Fourth, right. Well, they're talking about Bowers going 10th to the Jets and not slipping much past whoever's at 15, which I think is in Indy.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's a very high pick on a tight end. And he was, tremendous in college. When healthy, he was the best tight end in college football. He was. And on Georgia, he did a good job blocking, and he'll stick his nose in there. Good blocker. But generational, is he fast enough? Like when Gronk was healthy, you couldn't run with Gronk. What reemerged for Kelsey in the playoffs? What did he look like in the regular season? He looked heavier. He looked a little slower. It was like, wow, he doesn't have the explosiveness. They gave him the last week of the regular season off.
Well, the explosiveness is the one thing. When you saw Bowers play, I did a couple years ago, but I'm not watching him every week the way you were live. The one thing when you read about him, the explosiveness is the one thing all of the scouts rave about. Yes. Bowers.
Right.
Not necessarily top end speed, but his explosiveness.
And so, that's because if you think that he is like, outside of Kyle Hamilton with the Ravens, I don't think anybody can cover this guy, then that's a really valuable guy. I mean, he messes up defenses then for 8 to 10 years. I mean, a tight end that you don't have anybody, he's like 6'4", 230. okay, and you can't run with him? I mean, that's a problem.
Makes a lot of sense for the Jets. It really does. Everything about the Jets is for this year and next year, and really this year. They're old. And I mean, I get it. I mean, they're an old team.
Well, they just went and got Tyron Smith, right?
Right.
On a 1-year deal or something like that. So they're Super Bowl or bust.
Okay.
In the AFC.
But can I ask you this? And I understand they've got Cole Kmet. But if you're the Bears at 9, I mean, if we're saying this guy is going to be uncoverable for 8 years, if you're the Bears, can you let him go?
Then you got DJ Moore, you got Keenan Allen, now you got a tight end, and you're telling Caleb Williams, here.
Well,
here it all is.
I mean, what you're all
Smith
in
the backfield. I mean, from a skilled standpoint, they would be lethal, David. Lethal. Quarterback's got to be able to play, but they'd be lethal at the skilled spots.
And I know you're passing up maybe the second best tackle in the draft, the best pass rusher in the draft. Oh, I know. I get it.
I think they're going to go defense at 9. I'm with you. I know what you're saying, and I completely agree. But after they pick Caleb, defensive head coach.
But see, this to me is like, they just had this decision last year, and they took a really good player. They took the tackle from Tennessee. Remember, they traded with the Eagles, that the Eagles get ahead of them, and who'd the Eagles take? They took the big fella. They took the big guy from Georgia, who's unblockable. Okay. And they took a really good, solid, he's going to play 10 years in the league at right tackle. He's a good player. Very good player. But they passed up special. And to me, I think the Bears are looking at the exact same thing again in the exact same spot in the draft. They're going to take a very good player. It's going to be tough to screw it up. But if he turns out to be a guy that you can't cover for 8 to 10 years, didn't you screw that pickup?
Yes, there's no doubt that if you miss, it is, it's why the Bears are haunted by the Trubisky pick.
Right.
I mean, if you look at it, the Bears, they are haunted by the mistakes of the generational players they didn't pick.
And I know generations are every 15, 18, 20 years, but in the NFL, you got to shorten that. Careers are shorter. So think 8 to 10 years. Think about, is this the best, because he's a much better blocker than Pitts. Pitts a little bigger and maybe a better receiving option, but Pitts isn't a blocker. Bowers is a 65 snap a game guy. He never comes off the field.
I think at some point, though, they're going to try to bolster that defense up a little bit. I know they went and got Montez Sweat, but they did make the decision to keep Matt Eberflus.
I know. Tell you what, though, if the Jets get Bowers, so Breece Hall at tailback and Garrett Wilson at wide receiver, and Bowers at tight end.
And Aaron Rodgers healthy, they're hoping.
Right.
I mean, if I'm the Jets, I'm drafting an offensive lineman. I got to be honest. But then again, with the point I'm making about Brock Bowers, why am I drafting a tackle? All right. I need to take a cold shower. This is getting out of control.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other. With a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting a new computer.
Oh, boy.
It's replacing it today after the show.
I'm going to be a mess. 3 weeks. Oh, my God. Oh, God. I have nothing to distract me.
David, we're getting a new computer in here. Today.
Okay. So how does this make your life better?
It improves it quite a bit.
Okay, well, that's all I want to know. I just want to, I mean, you're the one that impacts.
It's going to be a brand new computer. It's going to be faster. Our sound effects are going to be cleaner, hopefully.
It won't misfire.
I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. Like the misfiring won't happen.
If you say so.
Yeah. I guess I'll believe it when I see it, but
Well, that side of the building is about 17, almost 18 years old. I think that's the first new piece of equipment that's been put in that studio since it opened.
Probably.
Here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Some final thoughts, a pick or two. All coming up. Hump day. Glad we're getting over it together. Hope your week's gone well. Hope it gets even better as April is underway. Doesn't look as if there was any outrageous April Fool's prank that was played anywhere.
No, but it is a really good day to stay off of X.
I agree.
Because whatever team you're following is going to send out something that your quarterback's transferring, and then you read at the bottom and you got me.
So there you have it, Miller and Moulton. Big story in sports, actually a television rating. LSU Iowa did 12.3 million. Highest rated women's basketball game of all time. And 12.3 million is more people watching Caitlin Clark in Iowa against Angel Reese, Kim Mulkey, and LSU than watched any college football regular season game last year, except for Ohio State, Michigan. More people than watched any college football conference championship game, with the exception of the SEC title game. It's more people that watch the NBA Finals. It's more people than watch the World Series. Basically, it's more people, by the way, than watch Thursday Night Football on Amazon on average. And it's only a couple million shy than on average, maybe 3 million now, who watches Monday Night Football on average. And there's only been one men's NCAA tournament game thus far that has attracted more viewership, and that was Sunday's last Elite Eight region final, which was between 5 o'clock and 7:30 on Sunday, which is a great time to have your game played. And it was on CBS, and that was Duke NC State did 15 million.
This is remarkable in all facets because it was an Elite Eight game. It's not even like it was the Final Four or the championship. And like David said, depending on who makes it to the championship, we might have unprecedented numbers for women's hoops.
If Iowa wins.
Correct.
I mean,
it's got to be Iowa versus South Carolina.
We've got to stop a little bit. And this is great for women's basketball. Don't get me wrong. I've been watching. I've been totally in. I've been watching for a couple of months. Something I never thought I would do is watch this much college basketball. But I'm watching Caitlin Clark. I'm not watching women's college basketball.
I know.
Now, I tuned in to watch FGCU in Oklahoma because they're the local team.
Right.
And Carl Semesco has been a great friend of the show for many years. I've actually done things with Carl socially. I root for him. But this isn't... We may not see this ever again.
Maybe not.
It's a perfect storm.
It is.
That's kind of what keeps it so fun. Is it's spontaneous right now. We don't know. We're in it. Like it's happening right now. We're watching this unfold.
And at least some of us, I guess me, I'm wondering what's next for her. And I feel like I'm the only one because yesterday, playing golf with a guy from Iowa, he's not a, he doesn't care Iowa State. He's watching. He's as realistic about it as anybody. And I'm like, so are you going to watch next year in the WNBA? No. No interest, he said. I'm like, wow. All right.
Well, we've talked about that before because in theory, I mean, listen, this is where people have to use their heads. I mean, you got to put her on the Olympic team. You do. She's a phenomenon. Also, the skill set that she brings, you mean to tell me she can't be the backup point guard? I mean, I know we're the best in the world in women's basketball. You sure she can't be the backup point guard? I mean, Lisa Leslie, one of the 10 greatest women's basketball players of all time, said, absolutely, she's got to be on the team. That's good enough for me. So in theory, Mark, this is the season, basically. She does this thing, And then she's going to get drafted, by the way, April 15th, first overall. I'm guessing the draft's in New York. That'll get attention. She gets drafted by Indiana, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they give them a lot of time, by the way. They've got to declare by Wednesday.
Right.
Like Angel Reese's season ended on Monday. She's got to determine by the end of the day, or 4 o'clock today, 5 o'clock today, whether or not she's going to come back to LSU for another year or enter the WNBA draft. At least they gave her a lot of time to figure this out.
Right. So it's today? It's not even a week from today?
No, it's today.
Oh, wow. So you could still be in the Final Four and,
right,
make a decision. Got it. So, and then in theory, she'll play a few games in the WNBA because they play their first half of their season. They take their all-star break, and then they take a month off for the Olympics. And my guess is, even though the buddy you played golf with is not going to watch her in the WNBA, I'm guessing people will. I mean, if 12.3 million people watched her on Monday night, I mean, Mark, I'm not kidding. I think she'll outdraw the NHL playoffs. Straight up, same night. If there was a Stanley Cup playoff game on TNT, and opposite it was Caitlin Clark playing basketball. TNT Stanley Cup playoffs, Caitlin Clark WNBA on ESPN.
Right.
Head to head. What do you think wins? I mean, hockey doesn't do a million.
I think she would win.
I think she'd beat the Stanley Cup playoffs head to head.
It's a great comparison, though.
It's an unusual comparison because usually ESPN's going to be running basketball opposite of TNT running hockey, the NBA playoffs.
Right.
So she may end up on the deuce. Or, I mean, I don't know if she'd get that favorable of a comparison.
True.
And I don't know if it would matter, David.
So this is how it's going to go. Final four, it either ends for Friday night or Sunday afternoon. And I do think I think we'd be curious to see South Carolina undefeated against Caitlin Clark and Iowa, the team that beat them last year, and they haven't lost since. It was a semifinal last year. It would be a final this year. It'd be on ABC. It'd be at 3:00. I think it would do 17, 18 million.
It's the matchup. If the NCAA could have it their way, obviously that's their matchup. Similar to how on the men's side it might be UConn-Purdue is the matchup.
I mean, I actually think if it's South Carolina, Iowa, 3:00 Sunday on ABC, I think it could challenge the men's Final Four. I certainly think it could challenge the first game, Purdue, NC State. Maybe by the late game, UConn, Alabama, the number is bigger because the number grows. But this is Sunday versus Saturday. This is edge.
Huge edge to the women.
Edge, women's. Huge. But anyway, so this weekend, she gets drafted on the 15th, first overall. So headlines, press. If they were smart, they'd keep her in New York. They do all the shows, And then she's playing for a couple months, and then she's on the Olympic team.
David, to your point, and I had to double check because I thought I was right. The Final Four games Saturday are on TBS. The women's game will be on ABC. I'm telling you right now. First off, when's TBS ever had those kind of numbers?
I think Turner's had one other Final Four in this new arrangement. But, I mean, so basically what we're saying is if Iowa wins Friday night, the women's championship game is going to kick the tar out of the men's Final Four.
It's going to give it a damn good run for its money.
Is the title game on TBS Monday?
I don't have that in front of me.
Because that,
I don't think so.
If you're Turner and you throw in hundreds of millions a year, I think you should get some of the good games, don't you? I mean, Oakland, Kentucky is cute and all, but yeah, give me a Final Four. Iron Eagles' first Final Four is on TBS. Nance is laughing somewhere. You know he is. Miller and Moulton.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Thanks, Stratheria. So the world famous Blue Crab Festival in Palatka. Okay.
Might get the Marshall Tucker man, huh? Little can't you see, Adam? There you go.
The Jello jump. I Jello wrestled for charity once.
Okay, 30 seconds. Explain Jello wrestling to me.
It's
You
exactly
wrestle in
what you
Jello.
think it is. Okay.
You get a big pool of Jello and you wrestle in it.
Yeah.
Usually done at the high-class ballets of the world. I did not know David participated in that.
I did. It was lime Jello too. Oh yeah, we put it on the news and everything.
The alt station that's no longer, now it used to be an alt rock station in this building. They would have gravy wrestling every year at Thanksgiving. They'd get a lot of people to show up for that too.
Yes, they would.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. The Hump Day edition of Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X, the Diamond District bonus hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Been a historic show. We had 2 plays of the day and everything.
Well, and it's a big day for Trent. The parents showed up here for the last couple segments to see him work. And I've known his dad forever. But I was shocked because Trent, who every day is in some sort of Detroit garb.
Right.
Today it's the Piston hat. You know, usually it's a Michigan State shirt, a Lion shirt, something along those lines. But Dad had nothing Detroit on. I'm in complete and utter disbelief right now. First time I've seen your father in at least 25 years. And I thought for sure it would be, in Lions gear.
I almost sent him a text this morning. I was like, you got to wear Lions stuff for the brand. I did think of it, but
he came in without it. So I was surprised.
How do they feel about the 1978 studios?
They haven't seen a lot of studios, so they're just impressed. I think they're just impressed he's working and up this early in the morning.
I thought they were going to take a look at his surroundings and say, okay, they're nice people. This ends now. we didn't pay for college for you to be doing this. Right. Okay.
So what happens when you get that communications degree? There's not a lot of places you can go, David.
No. It's like the sociology degree back in the day.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1860 we get started today. The Pony Express begins. No, we're not talking about the SMU backfield. We're talking about the actual Pony Express. From St. Joseph's, Missouri to Sacramento, California.
Look at you.
1953, the first TV Guide magazine was issued. It had Desi Arnaz Jr., Lucille Ball's baby, on the cover. Today in 1960, Elvis records Now or Never, Fever, and Are You Lonesome Tonight. Pretty big day in the studio for the King.
And he was doing it in the same equipment that Trent's working with today.
Figured that's where we bought it. 1988, Mario Lemieux wins the scoring title, ending Gretzky's 7-year run of winning said title. 89, the Wolverines take down Seton Hall by 1 to win the Natty.
Do you think that was a foul? I mean,
No.
It's overtime, closing. I mean, that was what, second half left in the game?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a borderline call, and that official did not hesitate at all in making that call.
But I didn't want Michigan to win, so
Gotcha.
of course I didn't think it was a foul.
I was rooting for Seton Hall, but I thought it was a foul.
UCLA beats Arkansas today in 95 for their 11th title.
I don't think I've ever lost more money on a game in my life, because not only did I have Arkansas to win, and I was going to win every single bracket I was in. Every single one. I crushed the bracket that year. I was in first place in every bracket going into the title game and had Arkansas winning the title.
And it was earlier for me than that. That's why the Kentucky Duke bothered me, because I had Kentucky winning that game, and everybody was on the Duke train, and that killed me.
I broke a bar stool. Remember, I'm on TV, mind you. I'm the local TV guy, and I broke a high chair bar stool. I picked it up and slammed it to the ground in anger. Splinters everywhere.
If only people had cell phones.
No. David wouldn't have neither of us would have a
No.
career, but David especially, because there's a couple of incidents that if we're on film, I don't know if he could work anymore.
No, the road rage incident.
Correct.
That would have ended right there.
It was today in 2000, Trent, that our Spartans beat the Gators for the Natty. The last Big Ten title in basketball on the men's side was for Michigan State in 2000.
My very first day on the radio in the 239.
Right, that was about when this thing came full sports, right?
Yep. They gave me a hell of a pitch. They said, listen, we're not going to pay you, okay, but we're going to sell remotes, and you're going to get $100 an hour, okay, for every time we sell a remote. And it was a 2-hour show, noon to 2. And I'm like, wow, going to make $200 a show? Yeah, we're going to have you out and about constantly. Did 7 remotes that year. Okay, I worked 9 months in 2000. I made $1,400.
Now you understand, Trent, why we're paying you what we pay you. And in 2006...
You're making a fortune compared to my first year, buddy.
And in 06, the Gators got their first title beating UCLA. Doris Day, Marlon Brando, Lyle Alzado all born today. Wayne Newton's 82. Tony Orlando's 80. Alec Baldwin's 66. And Eddie Murphy is 63 years old today. What did I miss, David?
He's 63.
Yeah.
He looks pretty good.
Yeah, he does.
We arrested the Unabomber today in 96. Did you have that?
I did not.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. It's a thing.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Well, we go to the British Isles for the good, where the owner of Sinclair General Stores wanted 80 Easter eggs, chocolate eggs to sell for Easter.
Okay.
He instead ordered 80 cases.
Oh, snap.
Which brought 720 of these on the island. The island's population is 500. He didn't know what he was going to do with the excess, but he decided to raffle off groups of 100 with proceeds going to benefit the Royal National Lifeboat Institution. They save people in the British Isles every year. Ended up turning into a very popular thing. He raised over 3,000 pounds and actually had to get more eggs delivered. So good for him. For the bad, we go to Bonita Springs, where a man was arrested after he got out of his vehicle and attacked a 72-year-old bicyclist in the middle of an intersection. It was at Bonita Beach Road and US 41 when the driver slammed on his brakes to avoid running a red light, and a bicycle crashed into his vehicle. The owner of the car, 35-year-old Andrew North, got out of his vehicle holding a small dog, got rid of the dog, and started beating up the bicyclist. The bicyclist got one up on him and put him in a headlock. North took off. North then, after the bicyclist took a picture of his license plate, he had the license plate. North later that night called 911 because he lost his dog. When police arrived at his residence, he was detained and sent to jail.
So you're in the car. You run the light, which means that you probably then went into the bicyclist lane.
Right.
And so he had the audacity to run into your car, which shouldn't have been there.
Bingo.
He's 72. You're in your mid-30s. And you decide you're going to attack him.
And you attacked him and got put in a headlock.
And you lost your dog. Wow. When
Deputies were unable to find North's dog during a search. Animal control's been notified.
Sorry, Mark. When you're his boss, and you find out this story, can you keep him employed? Or
No.
do you just look at him and go, yeah, this isn't going to work? Why? You're just too big of an idiot. I don't know if I'm allowed to fire you on those grounds, but we may have to change the rules.
I'm not a big fan of all the bikes on the road. I'm not.
I hear you.
But it's their lane. And I'd rather have them on the bike lane than on the sidewalk when they sneak out on me.
Well, so you can't attack a 72-year-old guy.
You can't attack anybody anymore.
Well, right anymore. I mean, the good old days. Yeah, it used to be you get out of the car and attack somebody. Not anymore. The 70s.
Finally, the ugly. We go to St. Petersburg, Florida, where Max Crajant pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor charge. You see, Max was drunk, and he went to a tattoo parlor.
It's always a good combination.
And wanted a 5-inch Waffle House tattoo on his leg.
Okay.
He was given said tattoo. When it came time to pay the $250 bill,
oh no,
Max had $6 on him. And he refused to pay.
Oh, not good.
So they called police. He was arrested, and he spent the night in jail before being bonded out by a neighbor at the RV resort where the 33-year-old lives. That is a great tattoo for someone that lives in an RV resort. Waffle House. Didn't even have the money to get it in yellow, just wanted the black and white tattoo.
What?
Yeah, he just got the black Waffle House. Didn't get the letters colored in yellow.
Well, it's, if he had more than $6, maybe.
It would have cost $100 more to get him in yellow. He didn't have that either.
Well, when you're stiffing them for $250, why don't you stiff them for $350?
I don't know how you plead no contest. You got the tattoo. You didn't pay for it. You're guilty.
Is he trying to say that he was intoxicated?
He was ordered to pay not only for the tattoo, but all of the court costs and fees, $675 in all, instead of the $250 that he would have had to pay to get that Waffle House tattoo. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, April the 3rd, 2024.
If you have a Waffle House tattoo, do you get discounted food at the Waffle House? I have to admit, I'd be a sucker. I'd give you one free meal. You come in, you show me the tattoo. I'd let everybody know, hey, look at this guy. Got a Waffle House tattoo. Isn't that something?
Scattered, smothered, covered, and chunked.
Yep. It's on me there, buddy. One time. We got 5 games in the NHL. Lightning are in Toronto. And both teams seem pretty locked into where they are. Toronto in 3rd and the Lightning in the first wild card. The TNT double dip at 7 and 9:30. Devils, Rangers early. Kraken and Kings. Kings are stumbling, bumbling. They're the final playoff team in the West, and they're only 3 points ahead of the Blues. So they need to win a couple here to make sure they get in. 9 games in the NBA. The Magic are in New Orleans to face Zion and the Pelicans. The ESPN double dip. OKC in Boston. Don't laugh when I say.
Finals preview?
Well, they're the 2-1 seeds right now in their respective conferences. And Cleveland Phoenix is the nightcap. Everybody's playing in baseball. Everybody.
Well, everybody's scheduled to play in baseball.
Well, right. Right. We don't know if the Tigers and Mets are playing. They're at night, though. Maybe it rains all day. They can play at night. I don't know. But the Marlins and Rays are both playing 1 o'clock games. Mike Trout in Miami. Marlins 0-6. Do we bet them? Come on. You're not starting 0-7.
You want to bet the Marlins?
Just come on. The White Sox won a game last night. It's baseball. It happens.
If they lose, we got to just keep betting them.
You're damn right. And the Rays
They're big favorites today. They're minus 125.
I know. I love when you're 0-6 and you're favored. Well, the Mets are 0-4 facing the 4-0 Tigers, and they're favored too. I bet the Tigers.
I'd bet the rain out.
But the Tigers are like pitching one of their best guys. The Mets are throwing their number 5 starter out there. Anyway, Rays Rangers also at 1 o'clock in St. Pete. Evaldi on the hill for Texas. You had Tampa with Savali on the hill as a slight favorite.
That's the boost in Hard Rock, by the way. Plus 105, Rays money line.
Okay. 10 of the 15 games in Major League Baseball, Mark, are this afternoon, including, we think, the Alabama Crimson Tide men's basketball team will be at the Yankees Diamondbacks game, which is a 12:40 local start, because what the hell is there to do? They flew in on Tuesday night, for goodness sakes.
It's Phoenix. It's not Albany, David. There are things to do.
Did you see Rebecca Lobo's statement? I've been in Albany many times. I coached my kids in the AAU. There's plenty to do. It was a joke.
Get over yourself, Albany. You got to issue an apology because you said there was nothing to do in Albany. It's an accurate statement.
Yeah, you're also a state capital. You should be above that.
The Sun Bowl's in El Paso, and one of the top CBS executives normally comes to the game. Well, he got married. New Year's Eve, he got married. And so they put the wedding picture on the screen. Congratulations. And Gary says, boy, some guys will do anything not to come to El Paso. They still hold it against him.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former